Welcome back to another episode of Buckle Up with the Boys. Here with your host Drew Billy and Nate Stice and Trevor Dinsmore. Sorry about the delay there, fellas. The little girl had to go potty, so I had to deal with that. So, how's everybody doing tonight?
Doing well, Drew. Understand dog daddy duty's called, so totally get it. But glad to be back for another episode, man.
Oh yeah. Trevor, how are you doing, buddy?
Good, buddy. Got plenty of sleep last night. I actually slept till about 10, and work then called me saying, "Hey, why'd you sleep till 10?" I don't know, just slept till 10. But no, other than the Steelers losing, it was a good weekend and it's a good Tuesday today. So
yes, no. But to start off the show, I know everybody wants to hear our opinion on the Steeler game. We have very strong opinions here if you've been following us all season. But first, I definitely want to talk about college football. These two are more knowledgeable than myself. So whoever wants to take the reins here, you go ahead.
Yeah, I'll go for it there, Drew. And I'll kind of be beating a dead horse with a lot of what I'm going to say at this point, because a lot of the shows out there have already covered it. It's well publicized at this point. The playoff is set for college football. It's going to be Michigan and Bama in the Rose Bowl, and then Washington and Texas in the Sugar Bowl. A lot of debate out there as to whether the committee got it right, leaving a Power 5 undefeated conference winner, that being Florida State. They won the ACC, went 13-0, leaving them out. This is unprecedented since the playoff began. Never before has a Power 5 conference champion that was undefeated been left out. Now, there's precedent for one-loss teams to be left out, but never for an undefeated. At this point, everyone kind of knows generally what the committee looks at. The moniker is always the 4 best teams, but something that they really had to take some scrutiny for, they also look at injuries. And injuries to key players, specifically Jordan Travis, the Heisman, at the time he got injured, Heisman candidate for Florida State there. And they've had to deal with some backups. The last couple games have not nearly been scoring as much, but the defense has obviously come up pretty big with that. But this is just another kind of step in the long line of criticisms of this whole 4-team playoff. I'm definitely glad we're going to a 12-team playoff this year, but of course there's still debate to be had with FSU being left out here. So to kind of break it down for you, it basically came down to FSU and Alabama for that number 4 spot. The number 1 through 3 spots are pretty much set. Texas dominated the Big 12 championship. Michigan's obviously undefeated, won the Big 10. And then Washington, same thing, undefeated, won a pretty competitive Pac-12 this year. I don't think you could have left a Pac-12 team out of the playoff this year. So those are pretty clear-cut. What wasn't clear-cut was Alabama. And, of course, we were down to Georgia, Alabama, and then FSU. And for, I guess, the direct head-to-head, Georgia was left at 6. I don't like that they were left at 6, but at the same time, it was a pretty congested field. But then comes down to FSU, Alabama. And just to kind of compare resumes here, so Bama won games against 4 ranked teams this year, whereas FSU, they only won 2. They had LSU in common, that Alabama, they won by 14 on the road, and then Florida State won actually in the opener at home by 21 against LSU. And then FSU's only other ranked win being in the ACC championship against Louisville. So technically, Florida State's best win was kind of Alabama's 3rd best win if you go by the rankings of things. Bama's resume here, like I said, they beat 4 ranked teams. Georgia, obviously ranked number 1 at the time, number 11 Ole Miss. Then LSU, as I mentioned, and they also beat Tennessee pretty good. I believe that game was at home for Alabama. Their only loss to the team that's directly above them in Texas. Then to kind of get into more of the metrics here, strength of record, Florida State actually was number 3 in the country, Alabama number 4. Then strength of schedule, Florida State was number 55 in the country, whereas Bama was number 5. My opinion, I know the resumes stack up pretty even here, but just judging from what the committee does and how they kind of had to look forward in this in this ranking. They normally don't really have to look forward as much as they do, as they did with Florida State here. I think the committee got it right. And Nate, we've had this discussion all weekend pretty much since the rankings were released. We're actually in agreement that the committee got it right this year. And honestly, they got it right in the right order. I know a lot of people are out there saying FSU should have been in there. You know, the likes of Mike Greenberg and Booger McFarland highly criticizing the playoff committee. But my opinion, I think they got it right. And I want to mention this too, a nice little wrinkle to it. I think the worst thing that could have happened for Florida State and their contention for the playoff happened in last year's national championship when TCU got blown out 62-7. We see what happens when a seemingly quote-unquote underqualified team gets into the playoff. Yes, TCU got a nice win against Michigan in the semifinal last year, but then they get to the national championship. Wasn't even a contest. And I think the committee, they wanted to avoid something like that again this year. But like I said, I know there's a lot of debate out there. Like I said, unprecedented that a Power 5 undefeated conference champion misses out. But this is really like the only circumstance in which they could miss out, in my opinion. If Jordan Travis isn't hurt, who knows? They might get in there, and then it's much less of a debate. You know, it's more of a debate. Oh, Alabama has the better resume, but, you know, Jordan Travis is in there and gives them a chance. You could look at it that way, too. But my opinion, committee got it right. Nate, I know you think the same thing, so I'll let you give your thoughts on it.
Yeah, I do think they got it right. Kind of the only thing that I would say that maybe it might just be my bias. I don't know. I think Georgia actually is better than Washington. You know, that's my only one that I picked, but they just lost going into the, you know, college football playoffs, so you're not going to put them in. And Washington beat Oregon twice, and they've beaten everybody in the Pac-12. They've had a stronger, you know, strength of schedule. Georgia didn't have a great schedule. They really didn't. They had an even worse schedule than, Florida State, arguably. You know, it wasn't great. Their out of conference was really bad. So I think all things considered, they got it right. It sucks for Florida State. This was kind of an outlier year in college football. There hasn't been a dominant team all year. You know, we've had years where Georgia dominated the past two. We've had years where Clemson dominated. We had years where Alabama dominated. We had the LSU year. We had Ohio State. They were dominant the year before too, even if they did lose early in the season. But yeah, I think they got it right. Unfortunately, I think that what really played into it was the Jordan Travis injury, like you said, Trevor. That just sucks. You know, if that kid's healthy, I really think they're in. Unfortunately, their backup quarterbacks have not played excellent. It's taken just unbelievable guts and effort from their defense the final two games of the season to really keep them afloat. And credit to those kids. You know, what can you do? It's very unfortunate that it kind of comes down to this situation. You know, it's never really been this way before. It's never been this. This is an unprecedented move. We've kind of had a more clear four, I think. You know, maybe that year when USC and State played in the Rose Bowl in 2017, had been the 16-17 season. There was arguments that those two teams were better than some of the teams that got in, but you know, I think that, you know, with those teams having two losses, that kind of eliminated them. So, yeah, to kind of wrap up, I think they got it right. It's unfortunate that it came down to having to consider the bylaws of the injury to Jordan Travis for, you know, Alabama and Texas to get in there. But, you know, I think that Texas is playing their best football of the year lately. They've won their last two games by about a combined 80 points. They blew out Oklahoma State in the Big 12 championship game. They blew out Texas Tech, a rival, by about 50 or 60 points during rivalry week. And then, you know, you had a gutsy Alabama team that kept getting better and better each week. You know, they won in the Iron Bowl. I know it doesn't look like a great win. Auburn's only 6-6, but you won the Iron Bowl, you know, and then you just beat the number one team in the country that lost in over 2 years. You beat that. So I just think those wins stack up a little better than, you know, squeaking out a win against Florida, who's down pretty bad considering where they were about 15 years ago. And then considering you barely beat Louisville, who is probably one of the most fraudulent teams this season's had, in my opinion. You can't lose to the worst Power 5 team in the country in Pitt, and and think and still be ranked. In my opinion, I don't know how they're ranked. The ACC is very weak. I think it's on the down. All it really would take for the ACC to really be in trouble in football is seriously getting if the SEC or Big 12 get Clemson and Florida State or Miami.
Yeah.
ACC is in a ton of trouble, and they're already in some trouble. There's a lot of teams that don't play very great football in that conference, just in my opinion. But yeah, I think the committee got it right. If there's any team that I think other than Florida State has any gripe, it's probably Georgia because, you lost to a team that was in. But yeah,
I will say they lost controversially too. There were some calls that didn't go their way in that game.
Yeah, but yeah, no. If there's any other team, I think that shouldn't be in, even if they're undefeated too, it's Washington. I think that they've kind of just they remind me of TCU last year. Sure, they're good. Sure, they're explosive, but they keep hanging on for these victories, and I don't know how sustainable it is. So, they made me eat my words all year, but TCU kept doing it last year, and then in the final they blew up. But we'll see what happens.
Yes.
I think it's an exciting playoff. Unfortunately, the bowl season has some excitement, but a lot of kids transfer and opt out. So hopefully the playoff's good and we get some close and competitive games because like the 1-4 matchup, I think the average margin of victory is like about 20 points all time. So hopefully,
3 scores usually.
If they're competitive games, then this reassures they got it right. And if they're blowouts, then we're going to hear some complaining big time, even more from Florida State, Georgia, and some of those other teams that thought that they should be more considered, the Ohio States of the world as well. But yeah, no, I'm with you, Dinsey. And some people aren't going to like that we're saying this. We're probably going to get some comments, and that's fine. But I think that it's their job.
Live with that.
I can live with it too. I think it's the job of the committee to get the 4 best teams. And I don't think it's necessarily record as best teams, because if records determine it, then Liberty's in. And I don't think anybody wants to see Liberty in the top 4, just my opinion. And good for the Flames. They're a great program. They've done some really great things the last handful of years for sure, but I don't think they can quite compete with those 4 teams or those 3 teams if they were a 4th. But yeah, very well said. I agree with mostly everything that you said, Trevor. So I'm just excited for it. I think it'll be great football for the next 4 or 5 weeks here.
Yeah. No, and
absolutely. I do want to touch on real quick. You said average margin of victory was around 20 points. I don't think we'll get that with these particular matchups. The spreads in these games for Alabama, Michigan, 1.5 to Michigan, and then Texas, Washington. Texas is favored by 4.5. So you probably expect some 1-score games, and then hopefully a lot of scoring in that Texas, Washington game, over under 63.5 for that one.
Yep.
I think what people forget too is that this is a business. They're trying to also have people turn the TV on and watch the game. So
it's like the NFL. It's an entertainment business. That's what it is.
Right. So they're not gonna not have big schools in there if they can't. If they can, they're gonna have them in there because it is what it is. But boys, the Steelers game, phone got blown up constant. I don't know about your guys' phones, but it was probably the worst day of my life on Sunday. I
can think of a couple worse for me, but
I told Trevor I'm not going to say it on the show what I was close to doing. But regardless, what are your guys' thoughts and opinions on what's going on here? Because mine's going to be drawn out like usual. So what do you think here?
Trevor, I'll make it quick. I had texted a couple of my friends.
Go ahead.
Look, I think this should be a win, but I said this has Mike Tomlin choke job, trap game written all over it, because there's these weird games, 1 or 2 every year that you're like, we should win that game, and we come and we're not ready to play. Whether it's the players, the schemes, the coach, I don't know what it is, but you can count them over the years. The Browns playoff debacle where we're down that right off the bat, like that's unbelievable. That's one of the. But like we've lost to Vikings Glennon twice. Like, there's no reason Mike Glennon should have beat us. We lost to the Michael Vick Jets. We've lost to Terrell Pryor. We've lost to when he was a quarterback for the Raiders. We lost to the 2-14 Raiders with I don't even know, it might have been Aaron Brooks at quarterback when the year before Jamarcus Russell came. They have these.
Yep.
Yeah, they have these one or two a year, and this screamed it for me. I'm so mad that I said that, and I sound like LeBron James saying, "Oh yeah, I was on that back in the day when like he does all the time." But no, I seriously texted it, and I wish I wouldn't have said anything because it just made it even worse. That I'm like, dang it, I saw this from a mile away, unfortunately, but it stinks that this has become predictable when you have when you've watched a team for so many years with the same coach. To put it in perspective, Mike T's won a lot of games. He's probably a Hall of Famer in the Pro Football Hall of Fame, but he's only won playoff games in 4 of his 17 seasons at the helm. So it's a little concerning. I'm not saying I'm not on the fire Mike T train or anything. I'm just saying this guy has had us ready in some weirdly big games that you didn't expect, and he's had us not even close to ready in some of these other games, like we saw on Sunday. And especially with a team that plays in a dome, that in a state that never rains, I don't understand what was going on there. I'm gonna cut him a little bit of slack. There was 2 delays in this game. The weather was atrocious. Your starting quarterback got hurt. Your third string starting middle linebacker got hurt. Your starting safety got hurt. So I'm going to give him a little bit of a benefit of the doubt. There was a lot of weird factors that went into that game, but they got to be ready to play. And God forbid, can you please score in the freaking red zone? Can you please finish a drive? That is driving me up a wall. I don't care who's calling the plays, designing them. Get them in the freaking. This is so annoying to watch them start. They're going up and down the field now. They were the last couple games, and then they get to the 20, and they're like, "Oh, we forget how to play the game all of a sudden." Like I don't know what they're doing. It's just odd to me. So, yeah, unfortunately I shut the game off at halftime. I didn't even watch the second half. I'm glad I didn't. There was a lot of nonsense that happened. I watched the Eagles and 49ers game. Loved every second of it. I'm so sick of the Eagles squeaking out these wins, by the way. Sorry, Eagles fans, but I'm ready for. I was so ready for them to lose, so I enjoyed that game, and I didn't look back after the second delay. I'm like, this game's over. We don't have a chance to score that many points, unfortunately. And I hate to be a negative Nancy, but I thoroughly enjoyed watching the Eagles finally stink and lose. So I don't even have comments on the second half of the game because I didn't even watch it. So that's my 2 cents on this, and I'm sure you guys have a lot more to add.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I'll go next, Drew. I got some of the numbers here, just some of the trends that we saw that were very un-Steeler-like. 9 penalties for 77 yards, not very good. A couple of 15-yard personal fouls on Miles Killebrew. He had a rough game. And then Boswell missed from inside of 50, just straight up missed. Not a bad hold, not a bad snap, anything. Just tailed off to the right. That could have been a gust of wind. I don't know what it was. Like you said, Nate, the weather was all over the place, so that might have played a factor in that. But of course, Kenny now has a high ankle sprain. He might be out 2 to 4 weeks. Mitch will be the starter this Thursday night. And I was screaming at my television for them to get Mason Cole off the field. Trust me, if you scrolled through Twitter or X or whatever the hell you want to call that network now, they were pretty much eating Mason Cole alive.
Yep.
He had 3 bad snaps that are seared into my brain, and of course the one that led to the fumble that was unfortunately credited to Mitch Trubisky kind of changed the game there. We were getting the offense going a little bit, maybe try and mount a bit of a comeback, and then all of a sudden that stalls out. Mason Cole, low snap to the quarterback, low snap to Trubisky. Cardinals fall on it, and that's the point where I turned the TV off. I didn't even turn it over to any of the other games. I didn't turn it over to the San Francisco game at that point. I just turned my TV off. I was sick of watching football. So I turned it off. I laid in my bed for like 30 minutes, and then I went back and watched the Niners-Eagles game. But a couple other numbers here for you. Steelers 4 of 11 on third down, 0 and 1 on fourth down, compared to Arizona, who was 10 of 17.
Right.
So when Mike Tomlin brings out the Tomlinism, we got to win the weighty downs. Yeah, we got to win the weighty downs. And of course, like you said, Nate, we can't score in the red zone. Right after the Kenny injury, we run the same play 2 times and it doesn't work. Najee gets stuffed both times. We can't punch it in. And then all of a sudden, Arizona's going down the field, 99-yard drive. And that's kind of where it felt over for me.
Yeah.
Arizona drives down the field, 99-yard. A beautiful drive if you're an Arizona fan and if you're anybody but a Steelers fan, I guess. But that's kind of where I got the sinking feeling. I'm like, this isn't our day. And then, like I said, a couple other those things happen. The Mason Cole thing, Killebrew has those couple penalties. Not good. Not good. Yeah, it was just deflating, especially right after, they had the really strong showing on offense in Cincinnati. I believe had around 430, 450 yards of offense in that game, even though they didn't score a whole lot. So Steelers fans coming in, we're thinking, okay, next logical step, learn how to score in the red zone. That way we don't have to rely on Boswell to make every one of his damn field goals. And that didn't happen. That just didn't happen. And it wasn't the worst Steelers loss that I've ever seen, and definitely not the worst Mike Tomlin loss that I've ever seen. It might be in terms of you were supposed to beat these guys. This is an absolute trap game, and we fell for the trap. Not the worst loss in terms of magnitude, but I understand how people are trying to, frame that loss. And yeah, classic Mike Tomlin. Classic Mike Tomlin. I was worried more so that it was going to happen on this Thursday with the short week against the Patriots. But hell, I'm still worried about that. I'm always worried about that. We can't score. We can't score for scoring. So I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen on the game on Thursday. And to kind of, I don't want to take into your take on the Arizona game, Drew, but to kind of preview that game for you. The over-under on that game's 30.5. 30.5. That's the lowest in the NFL since 2005. And ironically, in 2005, when the Bears had Kyle Orton at QB and had the second lowest, or I believe it was the 26th ranked scoring offense in the league, the Bears had the over-under at 30.5 6 times in that season, by the way. One of those was against the Steelers. You remember when Bettis ran over Urlacher?
Yeah.
That classic shot. That was 30.5. That hit the under. They hit the under in 3 of those games. So once I saw that, I'm like, my statistical brain said, okay, I'm going to go down this rabbit hole. And I'm very disappointed that I did.
Right.
Yeah.
But, anyway, Drew, your take on the Arizona game.
Well, yeah, I said it in that little video with the little promo thing for tonight's episode. The 2, breaks did not help at all. I'm really concerned on Boswell missing the kick, multiple injuries. You got TJ the whole game being held, cannot stand it. And I'm going to be honest with you. This is the first time I've seen, maybe Ben over the years said some controversial stuff, but TJ in his press conference, I don't know if you guys saw the quote. I'm going to say it to T because I don't want it to be misconstrued. The NFL has something going against me, so I don't want to talk any more negatively towards them. I don't know what I did, but I'll leave it at that. He's being held every play. And if you watch, and I know Raider fans, Cowboys fans, everybody knows how passionate I am. Even when they suck, I will fight for the Steelers. But the play that he got hurt on, the guy is literally coming down on his arm when he tries to do that slingshot. So I don't know, and he's grabbing his face mask. I mean, there's a whole bunch of things going on, and the grabbing around the neck. Where's player safety in regards to that? Can we just talk about in regard, I mean, if you want to bitch, I know Max Crosby gets held. But I'm seeing it more, maybe because I'm watching Steeler games more closely. But I'm very discouraged. He's your superstar in the NFL. I think he's a pedigree of NFL player. Why wouldn't you, like Brady got protected? Why aren't you kind of getting the calls to TJ? Is it because you got to call it every play and then it slows down the game? Who gives a shit? I mean, if it's a hold, it's a hold. I mean, I guess there's a rule book for TJ in a separate place in their vault somewhere in the NFL headquarters. And then Deontay Johnson celebrating down 14 points. Very classless, was very pissed off at him. I don't know your feelings on that. I really want to hear your guys' opinion. What the fuck are you doing?
I'm going to be honest. I didn't even see that.
Okay.
I didn't either.
I didn't even see
Catches
that.
it. He's doing a little dance in there. I'm like, I understand this is the second touchdown in how many years or whatever, but I mean,
second touchdown in 2 years.
And then you look at the interviews after the game. Tomlin does not have control of that locker room. I'm going to make it clear. And these guys are saying, "Oh well, we're going into this game. We didn't think highly of them. That's why we lost today." Well, this is the NFL, baby. It does not matter record. You can lose any game by a play, by a movement. I don't know, but I was not impressed with anything. Kenny goes down. He's injured. That's why I'm not wearing his jersey, because I'm fucking depressed over it. And then Trace McSorley gets signed. I'm happy about that signing. I think, like I told Trevor last night, he's game controller. Makes mistakes at times, but he's Penn State. I love it. Anytime Penn Stater goes to Pittsburgh, I love it. So that was a very long.
That signing was more of a why the hell not type of a signing. Like, yeah, we need a third quarterback on the sideline in case the first two get hurt or whatever. So, why not? And who knows? Maybe it's Sullivan or the OC, whose name escapes me at the moment. I apologize.
Eddie.
Maybe they can throw him in some packages and, maybe innovate the offense a little bit. But we know the Steelers and offensive innovation don't exactly go hand in hand these last few years.
I know.
No. And oh shit, the question just popped out of my head. What I was going to ask you guys. Shit. Damn it.
It wasn't about TJ again, was it?
Wasn't about TJ. I was going to. Damn, that was a good question. It's all right. I don't want to stay on this too long, but I just have to throw out there too. I don't know what you have to do. I'm sick of it's been 3 years. It started with COVID. So thank you, COVID. Steelers football went down the drain after that. It just, ever since then, 2020 season and to now, just been shit product. So that's all I have to say. And here's the question, boys. Trubisky. Is he the cemented backup, or
yes.
Do you think we should give Mason Rudolph a chance? For God's sakes.
Mason Rudolph has gotten enough chances as it is.
Okay, fair enough.
Leave Trubisky in there. He's got starting experience.
Okay.
I don't know, DB or Trevor. I don't know, man. I think Trubisky's not very great, and I think this dude gets worse the more he plays. And so did Mason too. Don't get me wrong, but
yeah, right. They both shit themselves. Yeah.
Regardless, I've been saying this all year. I think we have 3 backups on our team. I think we have Kenny, who I think's a backup, Mitch, who's a backup, and Mason, who's a backup. That's just my take on it. And I really think that between 2024 and 2026, we're going to have to figure out something new, because I don't think it's good. We might have a scenario where both of our current backups aren't even on the team next year. They're both on 1-year deals. Trubisky's on the second year of his 2-year deal, so he's probably going to be gone. And Mason's on a 1-year deal. And Kenny's got 2 years with a club option for the 5th, and I don't know if they'll even pick it up. But yeah, I think these guys are, that Jacksonville Jaguars room a few years ago with Nick Foles, Josh Dobbs, and Gardner Minshew. They're all backups. Now, those 3 are all pretty good backups. These guys are just backups, not like the best backup, not the best backup quarterback room ever. Like this is just a quarterback room that somehow was assembled. They're not leading us to anything. I don't think. I hate to, I mean, I hate to be this pessimistic person, but I don't see it. I just don't. I think personnel is still an issue. You know, they're not scoring in the red zone. Najee can't run forward. Deontay doesn't seem to be engaged. Najee seems to be very displeased about what's going on with his role there too.
Yes.
Mason Cole can't freaking snap the ball.
Holy shit.
We're delaying the playing time of our number one pick. We're delaying playing time of our supposed prodigy tight end out of Georgia and Washington. So
two plays he was on.
Like, what are you doing? Why pick him? Why pick the kid? Why are you picking these people to sit him? I understand not rushing them into the fire, but if they were worth that pick, very few people just go sit. I understand quarterbacks. I do. I understand if it's a two running back system and you're putting the rookie as the second back to start the year just to kind of get their feet wet. But like, this is an offensive tackle who you moved up for to sit. That doesn't even make any sense. This is a tight end that you already had 3 tight ends and you went and got this tight end for a reason, and then you don't play him. Like, you got Joey Porter as a first-round pick in the first pick of the second round, and then you were babying the crap out of him and not starting. And now this dude, I understand he's gotten some penalties. That's the way this kid's going to play. He's going to get those. But he's playing pretty decent on some of the best wide receivers in the national right now at 22 years old. So we're just babying these guys. Why get the people if you're just going to sit them? Like, right. What are you doing? Why get something just to admire it? Like, it's like people that get a car to sit it in their garage. I bought a $500,000 vehicle so I can put it in my garage. Why? What does that do? Like, the purpose of it is to get you somewhere. Like, that's the same thing with these players. It's to get you somewhere. Why keep putting it in the garage? So I just wanted to go with that, and we can transition to something else because I'm tired of talking about it.
No, I'll throw out one more thing, and then we move on. I think what we're missing is that star quarterback, and I know I keep going back to Ben. I talk about him all the time. But we're missing that backup. When Ben would go down, we had Charlie Batch. Guy just held on to games. He was just able to maneuver through it. And
yeah,
I'm sorry. Now it's kind of like, who the fuck's going to fuck up this week? And it's bad. I know I'm trying to cut down on language, but it's all honest truth.
Yeah.
With Byron Leftwich filled in that role well, and honestly, ever since Byron Leftwich and Charlie Batch have left, it's been the carousel of Laundry Jones, Mason Rudolph, Duck Hodges, Trace McSorley. Name your guy. Like, name
Dennis Dixon.
Dennis Dixon. Name your guy. So,
Twilight Michael Vick.
Twilight. Twilight Michael Vick might have been the last backup that we've had actually that was worth, and that was the Twilight.
Yes, it wasn't bad.
He won us a football game against the Chargers on Monday night.
He did.
So, he's more worth it than the guys that they have right now, in my opinion. So it's frustrating, and I don't know what they have to do to fix it, but I think it really starts with offensive line. It starts with getting some of these players that have these character issues out. And that might be Deontay Johnson and Najee Harris, considering Najee Harris was asked about what he's most excited about with Mitchell Trubisky. And he said he's a vocal leader, I guess. And then he kept saying, I guess, after everything. Like, you obviously don't believe in this guy. You don't believe in him. And I'm sorry, but the Steelers aren't believing in you, Naj. You're slow, you're fat, you're out of shape, you can't run. And Jaylen Warren is worth like 1/10 of your salary, and the dude's the leading rusher in the NFL, or one of the leading rushers in the NFL over the last like 4 or 5 games.
Right.
Just give the ball to him, and good things have been happening. So I don't know if Naj wants out or what, but figure it out, Najee and Deontay. I'm so tired of you two complaining. Like, you're in the playoff picture, and you guys have done nothing, and you're still miserable. Like, figure it out. Quit being babies about the whole match.
Right. No, I think we all got our blood pressures up there. I'll probably have to take some medication after this, but that was good conversation. Saw a little twinkle in my eye while I was talking there, and I was like, oh boy, I got to calm down a little bit. I didn't know what was going to fly out of my mouth. But Philadelphia 49ers game, Eagles 49ers game, I thought could have been potentially a game of the year. It did not turn out to be that. The 49ers absolutely, and I say this with great pride, shit stomped the Eagles. But boys, if we look back, I kind of saw that this wasn't going to be a close game. In fact, I didn't take the spread, but in fact of how the Bills were able to dissect their offense or defense last week. So I guess, are we still okay on the Eagles, or what do we feel here?
Go ahead, Trevor. I just talked for forever.
Okay. No, I was waiting for you. I don't know why, but my internet's like, it's being fuzzy again. But
that's all right.
No. Quite frankly, the Eagles, their weaknesses were exploited to the highest level. Their secondary was exposed. Their lack of, consistent run game from their running backs was exposed. And honestly, Jalen Hurts' somewhat inconsistent pass game, kind of exposed too. And like I said, the 49ers, they just exploited it to absolutely no end. They were just absolutely dominant pretty much on both sides of the ball, in Lincoln Financial as well. Let that not be lost. San Francisco came over from the sunny Bay Area to the cold, wintry Philadelphia, snow and, whatever, wind and cold weather and all that. And they stomped on the top team in the NFC. Let the gravity of that sink in a little bit.
Yeah.
Quite frankly, and might be a bit, I don't think this is a hot take. 49ers are the favorite to come out of the NFC.
Yeah.
49ers are the favorite to be number one in the NFC. Because we know Philadelphia and Dallas, they got to play each other one more time. And quite frankly, the Cowboys have a really good chance of winning that game the way they've been playing. Dak has been phenomenal. He's taking care of the ball. He's throwing a lot of touchdowns. He's distributing it to guys. He's finally getting it to Brandon Cooks, which, that pick is finally paying off in my best ball leagues. But no, quite frankly, the Eagles and another team I want to touch on, the Chiefs too, they're showing their weaknesses. And teams are figuring them out. Good teams persevere through that. I have faith that the Eagles are a good team, and I know they got a lot of key injuries. They've had a lot of key injuries throughout the season, been weak at some spots, but good teams find a way to win even when you're down. Can the Eagles do that? I don't know. But if last week's game is telling it all, they're no longer the favorite to win the NFC.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. I didn't even I like the Eagles. I think they're a really good football team. You can't even argue against it. Yeah. I thought the 49ers, even if they won or lost this game, still to me is the favorite. I don't really care about the outcome of a game in early December. A lot can happen in 5 weeks for sure. But yeah, I think we may have seen an NFC Championship preview. This week might also be an NFC Championship preview, although Dallas has not beaten a team with a winning record other than the Seahawks this whole season. Their strength of schedule is poor. They've won a lot of games against really bad teams. So I think Philly will beat Dallas. They've had their number recently. I think they'll bounce back and be better. But yeah, this kind of got out of hand. I think really what ends up happening is Philly, if they get down by too much, it's going to be hard for them to come back because they're a run-first team. They like to be a run-first team. I know that they can throw it all over the place. They got an amazing receiving core, but they're run-first. Run-first with Swift and Gainwell and Hurts. Like, that's such a great, trio there running the football. So, they're run-first, and it's tough to come back. And I will say this. There was a garbage touchdown at the end by Debo. Like, that was just a weird play. That was another few points on top of it and stuff.
Yeah.
So, the score was not, indicative of the how close it was for most of the game, but physically the 49ers mostly controlled this game other than the first couple drives. They took it to him. And I'm also going to say this, like, we saw a few possible MVP candidates in that game. We really did. We're talking about Hurts and Purdy, but I mean, can you count out Christian McCaffrey from being an MVP? I mean, this dude
Right.
he's just a money pit with these anytime touchdowns. I mean, he's unbelievable. And whether it's the rushing yards, receiving yards, the long plays, like,
there's a reason he's always minus 200 for those.
right, like, this dude's automatic. And we might see the first MVP non-quarterback in a while, and I wouldn't be opposed. Him and Tyreek Hill, I mean, that's another one. Unbelievable. But yeah, to go back to the 49ers, I think they're Super Bowl favorites right now. I thought they were a Super Bowl favorite coming into that game regardless of the outcome. Like, they're that good of a team. They have superstars all around. Every position group has a star. So I really like the way that they played, and they definitely put people on notice by beating the Eagles for sure.
Right. No, and then switching over here to overreaction and reality, boys. Here, got a little controversial things going on here, but we'll see what you guys think here. 49ers will win out the rest of the regular season. I say that's reality. They're just hot. I look at their schedule. I did not see who they have. Oh, but yes, we have the Seahawks, Cardinals, Ravens, and Commanders and Rams. I don't see them struggling. Only game potentially, well, there could be a trap game, but I see potentially only Ravens. Concerning looking at the records and schedule there. But you guys agree or no?
It's going to be tough.
Want me to go, Nader? I'll go.
Okay, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, no, I was going to say Ravens, definitely the only one that's concerning for me, especially considering Lamar Jackson's record against the NFC. Well documented. I think he only has still 3 losses in his career to NFC teams, which is astounding. And he's like 18 or 19-0 in his last 18 or 19, whatever it is. Good news for the Niners there. That one's at home on Christmas. So that'll benefit them. They'll probably be favorites in that game, depending on how the teams are trending at that point. But yeah, so long as they win against Seattle, which they should. Seattle's a mixed bag of an organization right now. And then they should stomp the Cardinals. They should stomp the Cardinals. They should do what the Steelers couldn't do. They should stomp the Cardinals. Then, yeah, Ravens, Commanders after that, that's a win. Commanders can't defend anything. They can't defend Jack Diddley Poo, especially with they traded away one of the guys to the Niners, one of their best defenders in Chase Young. So that, and they also got rid of Josh Sweat. He's on the Eagles now. And then Rams, they should be able to take care of that one too. I have to agree with you, Drew. I say that's reality as well, with the caveat of that Ravens game is going to be pretty close.
Okay.
Yeah, DB looks like reality right now. Like Trevor said, the Ravens, that might be a Super Bowl preview, the way those two teams are playing. They're the best on the line. They can run the ball, and they're better in the passing game than they've been. They're spreading the ball around in the passing game, and that was kind of some of their issues for each of those teams last year, just kind of spreading out the carries and spreading out the targets and all that stuff. They're doing that in a much better sense, especially the Ravens this year, for sure. But yeah, there's the only thing that I would add. Week 18, they might sit people, so maybe they lose to the Rams. The Rams might be in contention. But on the flip, there's also a scenario where the 49ers need to win that game to get home field, so maybe they play everybody, and they don't want to see a division rival potentially. So yeah, those are the only teams I think they'll take care of Washington. I think they'll take care of Seattle, and I think they'll take care of Arizona. So yeah, I don't think that's an overreaction. I think there's only a few scenarios where they lose. I think it's Ravens in Week 18. That's it.
Okay. And then next one, Brock Purdy is MVP. I see reality in this. Just off his stats this season, boys, 148.8 passer rating, 70.2% of his passes have been completed, 3,185 yards and 23 touchdowns to 6 interceptions. I mean, that's – I don't know. and his yards per attempt is 9.6. He's almost getting a first down every fucking time he throws the ball. So, is that reality or overreaction to you guys?
It's hard to say right now. There's a lot of time. I'm going to say this: he's in the running. There's no question this dude's in the running. He had a great game last week, but there's still a lot of time and a lot of things that can be determined to determine the MVP. Like some years, people run away with it. Like the year Lamar Jackson won it, like what he was doing, like if this dude doesn't get hurt, he got it. Like he was putting up insane numbers. Some of the years Rodgers got out to such an incredible start, and Manning and Brady, they've gotten out to incredible starts too in the past. It was like, yeah, they want it as long as they stay healthy and just put up half of what they're doing. So, yeah, I'm going to say Purdy's in the running, but don't discredit Jalen Hurts. The way Dak Prescott's playing is unreal. McCaffrey and Tyreek Hill, like 550, 580 odd yards away from being the first 2,000-yard receiver in the history of the NFL. And, I mean, it doesn't look like he's slowing down. He had 2 bomb touchdowns, almost 200 yards receiving the other day. And, he doesn't play in a great division this year. So that certainly helps. So, yeah, don't discredit those guys, too. They're certainly in the conversation. But, yeah, Brock Purdy looking like no sophomore slump for sure. He's looking like the real deal. Sure, there's a lot of weapons, but the weapons don't throw the ball at that accuracy and that far down the field and make all these perfect reads for you all the time. So, yeah, I probably not an overreaction, but we'll see what happens in the next 5-6 weeks.
Okay. Trevor, what do you think?
I'm going to say that's a cautious reality for sure. And let me just say something too. John Lynch is one of the luckiest men on the face of the earth with this QB situation.
Yeah. Absolutely.
You trade up to get Lance, what was he, second overall, third overall, whatever it was? Third overall. I think he played a regular season game for the Niners. That was it.
4.
Or maybe it was 4. Oh, yeah. I think the start of last season, he played 4. Yes.
Yeah.
And then you take Brock Purdy at the end of the draft in 2022, just because. Right? Yeah, no one's really looked at this guy. Maybe he could be good for us. Fast forward a year and 6 months or whatever, however long it's been. The man's an MVP candidate. And Drew, you said the stats, they speak for themselves. He's efficient as all hell.
Oh, yes.
As a 49ers quarterback should be. I mean, hell, Jimmy Garoppolo looked really good in that offense.
Right.
I'm just saying, Jimmy Garoppolo made it to a Super Bowl with that offense under Kyle Shanahan. Don't discredit the genius of Kyle Shanahan. I can never say that enough. And the Shanahan family as a whole. Seriously, all those guys were literally born to coach football and do nothing else with their lives. It is amazing. It is amazing what they're capable of. And apparently they're capable of making Brock Purdy, Mr. Irrelevant, an MVP candidate. I mean, geez, we thought the Brady. I mean, I know I'm speaking of Tom Brady here. I'm putting Tom Brady in the same breath as Brock Purdy for a second. Give me 1 second to see where I'm going with this. Brady was drafted 199. Brock Purdy, Mr. Irrelevant, number 256. We're entering unprecedented territory here. You can't get any lower of a draft pick to win MVP. You can't. I mean, unless they expand the draft to 8-9 rounds. You can't get any lower. And you can't get any luckier if you're a Niners fan, if you're a Niners GM, coach, personnel. So freaking lucky. Very happy for Brock Purdy, though. He seems like a wonderful human. Like, literally, he's not phased whatsoever. Even during that stretch where they had 3 losses, what did he do? He wasn't on his phone or anything like that. He wasn't distracted. He went back to his farm in Iowa and just plowed fields for like a week. Just got away from everything. One of the most cool under pressure guys in the NFL today. It's quite frankly, it's amazing to watch.
Yeah.
And it's amazing. It's honestly amazing to watch the 49ers, the way that they operate too. Easily the best team in football. Brock Purdy, one of the best, if not the best quarterbacks in football right now. Never thought I would say that about a Mr. Irrelevant, but here we are.
Yeah. No, and then the next one, because there's been a lot of hype around the Eagles losing the 49ers. Eagles will lose the NFC East. That's an overreaction. I think they're fine.
Yeah.
They're going to make it out. I don't think they're going to have any issue against Dallas. Dallas, we've seen over 3 years now, absolutely just choke and shit themselves. So is that an overreaction, boys, or no?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, here's the thing. I know Dallas goes into first place if they win, but there's still like 4 more games after that for Philly to possibly still take over them. But I still don't. I don't even think Philly's going to lose to them. And if they do, good for Dallas. You know, that'll be one of Dallas's biggest wins in a long time. And they're certainly due. You know, they're very due. They've won some big games, but they've also choked away at plenty of those big games over the last 30 years or so. But yeah, they're due, but I think it's an overreaction. I think Philly will regroup and finish this crazy stretch that they're on of playing virtually every good team in the NFL in a row. So yeah, I think it's an overreaction still. I still like Philly to win the NFC East for sure.
What do you think, Trey?
Yeah, I'm in agreement. Although I could see Dallas beating the Eagles on Sunday Night Football here. Dallas undefeated at home this year. They're 6-0. They've just been playing lights out. I think they score somewhere in the neighborhood of 33 to 35 points per game at home. And if we have a repeat performance from the Philadelphia defense, we could easily see Philly lose. And then, of course, the tiebreakers go from division and common opponents all the way down. And I believe, Drew, you kind of typed it in our little script here, these tiebreakers. So I can't even see them right now. But I know, Eagles looks like 5-1. Eagles are 4-2 in the division right now. Is that what they are?
Yes. Yep.
Okay.
And the Cowboys are 4-1.
And the Cowboys are 4-1.
Yeah. So
okay. So I don't know. And then just looking at the schedules here too, I tell you, it doesn't look easy for Dallas. After the Eagles, they got the Bills, they got the Dolphins, and then they got Detroit. And then the Commanders to top things off, who they should absolutely smoke because the Commanders, again, can't defend anything to save their lives. But no, you got a rough, stressful 4-week stretch here if you're a Dallas fan. And nothing makes me happier than to watch Dallas fans stress the fuck out. So.
No, I agree with you. This was just stupid. I saw this somewhere. AFC North gets one team into the playoffs. That's reality. We hope to God it's the Steelers, but it could be the Browns. That's reality, though, boys. I mean, that's not even a question. I saw that all over the place that AFC North might not even get a team in the playoffs. What the hell is that?
Well, you mean out of the wild card, I assume, right?
Yeah.
Okay, because I was going to say, well, they get one no matter what.
Right, out of the wild card.
Division, yeah.
They're going to get a wild card team, I think. I mean,
okay.
Kind of have to.
Yeah, I think they will. I mean, Denver's closing, Buffalo's closing. The Texans have the same record as the Steelers, Browns, and Colts. But I still think the Steelers or Browns are somehow going to pull some wins out of their rear ends and sneak in there. And, obviously the Browns are going to miss Deshaun Watson, but they might be able to win a playoff game just because their defense is so good and they can run the football and shorten the game. Yeah, the Steelers are right there too. So I think they'll get 2 teams. I don't think they're going to get all 3 now, not with Pickett's injury, Deshaun Watson's injury, how well the Texans are playing. If the Bills can start playing right at the right time, they can get hot and get in. Denver won 5 of 6. That you never know. They got the Chargers. A winnable game for them this week. So I'm going to say they get 2, and they get the Ravens. I think they're a lock to win the AFC North now, pretty much. And hey, let's not even count out the Bengals. Right. They're 6-2, and Jake Browning looked pretty dang good last night. He was throwing all over that Jaguars defense. So I'm still gonna go with 2 right now with all these injuries to the AFC North. But Yeah, that's just my thought.
Right. And then just to throw something in here, I didn't have it on the script.
Yeah,
Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Trevor. No. You go,
go
Trevor.
ahead, Drew. Sorry.
No. You go, bud. You go.
I'm lagging again. Go ahead, Drew.
Oh, I want to throw in here. Me and Trevor were talking
Drew,
about
talk.
this. Yeah, me and Trevor were talking about this last night. The leg injuries that occurred this weekend, Nate, very concerning to the fact of I mean, what's going on here. I mean, I'm not. Kenny came in with the ankle injury already happening. Trevor Lawrence goes down. Rodgers at the beginning of the season, I believe. The name just slipped my mind. Other injuries as well. Do you think, for God's sakes, we're going to switch from turf to grass, or is that still not even a discussion? I mean,
yeah, I it should be, but I mean, Trevor Lawrence's injury had nothing to do with grass or turf. The dude got rolled. You know what I mean? Kenny's was banged around, twisted, and then his was kind of it had nothing to do with grass or turf either. At least the latter part of it. I don't know what he did to tweak it.
Right.
So that one, kind of an exception. Rodgers, MetLife is just cursed. That place is just everybody gets hurt there. It sucks.
Right.
So
Yeah.
I don't know. I wouldn't mind seeing him do grass. Like if the players want it, it's really not that much of an investment from these owners. It's a pain in the butt to hire them, sure, but like these owners have so much money, they don't even know what to do with it. Like, and if it's something across the league they want to do, like the league should help support this change.
Right.
Like, I don't know. I think some of them are because of the environment, and some of them are just because that's the game of football, So no clear-cut pattern to that, but just kind of an unfortunate set of circumstances because we're seeing a lot of back in the NFL right now at the quarterback position. So kind of cool to see. Some of these guys' stories are pretty cool, but and other times, this Tim Boyle experiment,
Oh God.
Trevor Siemian experiment, I'm tired of seeing that. And some of these other ones, the Browns issues, some of those are just putrid. I don't want like I don't want to see you guys play anymore.
Right.
Yeah. No, I hear you. I think the one that you forgot, Drew, Kirk Cousins. I don't know if you brought his name up. Torn Achilles.
Yeah.
Derek Carr. Well, no, Derek Carr had shoulder issues. Daniel Jones, he's had some knee issues, which he's been sacked more than any other quarterback in the NFL since he got to the New York Giants. So that's kind of on him as well. But no, I've long been an advocate for natural grass or natural grass / turf hybrid. I think it's yes, you have these fast-paced offenses, but you also have guys just tweaking stuff and not wearing the right footwear, not wearing the right protection, and just not knowing how to adapt to the conditions. So honestly, I don't know. It depends whether those greedy SOBs in the owners' boxes are going to actually make the investment to actually, transition to this thing.
Right.
But for now, we're kind of stuck with what we got, and we're stuck with a QB carousel pretty much league wide. Nate, I love how you brought up Tim Boyle. Didn't they just cut him today?
He started on Sunday and he got cut today.
Thank God.
He got cut today, and they signed someone, Rypien, I think.
Yeah,
Brett Rypien.
Yep. And Trevor Siemian ended the game, and there's rumors Zach Wilson is reluctant to go back into the starting role. Who knows what's actually true? But from some of the things that we've seen from Zach Wilson in the past, we can't rule it out of the realm of possibilities that he's kind of not wanting to go back in there. Some of the ways this dude has acted in the last 3 years, unfortunately, he's given people a reason to feel this way about him. It's unfortunate.
Right. No, and just to touch on Zach Wilson's situation, Chris Collinsworth just shredding him apart the last Sunday night game they had. That was very enjoyable. Zach, I'm not even sure what he's seen, Mike. What do you think he's seen? I'm like, okay, is someone going to tell him to calm down? Because, his family's watching this. Jesus Christ.
I'm surprised, Drew, that he didn't bring up during that rant. Oh, Patrick Mahomes wouldn't have made that play.
Oh yeah, right, yeah.
Right,
If I can just- I was going to make a gesture, but I think you guys can go and know where I'm going with that. But anyway,
We can use our imaginations. Yeah. Drew, do you got more overreaction
nope, that's it.
stuff? No. Okay. I wanted to talk about the Chiefs.
Yes.
I wanted to talk about the Chiefs, and specifically this season's Chiefs. They have looked vulnerable.
Yeah.
Scoring 9 points against Denver, scoring 19 against Green Bay, and losing.
Yikes.
Little statistic here for you, and something I was honestly astonished to figure out, more the latter than the former part of this, because I kind of knew the initial part. Chiefs have scored fewer than 20 points in 6 games just this season.
Wow.
From 2018 to 2022, that only happened 6 times.
Wow.
Over the course of 5 seasons, it only happened 6 times.
Wow.
Losing to Green Bay in their house, and giving up, not only that, giving up 27 to a Jordan Love led team has me very concerned about their playoff chances. I believe they're still in first for, actually, no, they're not in first. The Dolphins and the Ravens are 1 and 2. They're both 9 and 3. Of course, the Dolphins still have to prove that they can beat a winning team for me to fully believe in them. But like you said, Nate, when the Niners play the Ravens in a few weeks, that could be a Super Bowl preview. That could be preview your number 1 seeds right there. Kansas City's 8 and 4 right now. Yes, they're 6 and 1 in the conference, but they're not doing so hot out of the conference.
No.
And their offense is lagging. They don't have any wide receiver weapons at all. They don't even have a Juju Smith-Schuster anymore. They have, what do they have? A Rashee Rice and a Sky Moore that doesn't know how to run routes. And yes, they got a bowling ball in Isaiah Pacheco. He's fantastic. He's fantastic for, my fantasy team as well. But this isn't the same old Chiefs anymore.
No.
It's really strange to see. It's quite frankly, it's a bit of a palate cleanser from what we've seen in the past 5-6 years. Nate, I know you'll agree with me on that. You're kind of sick of seeing these Chiefs.
Oh, jeez.
Me too. And I hate to bring this up, but I couldn't imagine if the Chiefs were really doing well, and they were building that up with the Taylor Swift stuff.
Oh.
That would have been the epitome of a Nate rant on this program, if you ask me. That would have been absolutely fantastic. But hey, credit to the Packers, Matt LaFleur. Hey, if the Packers can make a run at this thing, they're 6 and 6 right now. They're in that 7th spot in the playoffs. If they can come back and make a run at this wild card spot, I don't think they're winning the division. I think Detroit's got that on lockdown at this point. It's pretty much all but sealed. We got 5 games to play. They're up by 3 games. So Detroit's got that on lockdown. But if Green Bay can make a late season run here, which they've been known to do, by the way, another little statistic for you, Matt LaFleur, undefeated in December, 16 and 0 in December. We could be talking about, and along with Drew, I don't know if you brought this up, but you brought this up to me recently, or either you threw it in your script or something. Shane Steichen for Coach of the Year. Yes. You got to throw Matt LaFleur in that mix as well.
Yes.
He's done a fantastic job with Jordan Love. I mean, yes, Jordan Love's been inconsistent, but guess what? So was Rodgers and Favre in their first years as a Packer. You put their stats side by side, Jordan Love and Aaron Rodgers in their first year as a Packer, pretty similar. And hey, I'm going to be convinced that either Bart Starr or the Green Bay, I guess Green Bay is technically owned by the fans, only NFL team owned by the fans. I'm convinced that they made a deal with the devil to have all these freaking quarterbacks. If we see in 15 years Jordan Love is going to the Jets, then I'll be convinced that somebody made a deal with the devil somewhere down the line. But credit to Green Bay, very, very concerning with the Chiefs. They're relying on their defense right now to keep them in games, and that's not Kansas City.
No.
That's not the Kansas City I'm used to seeing these past 5 years anyway.
No, I agree with you. I Nate, I don't know if you have a standpoint on that, but I just it's good to see because I'll tell you right now, when I logged on Hulu today and I see E is doing a documentary on this Travis and Taylor situation, I go,
Well, that's E. That E is just a garbage network that puts out. They're like the SNL of entertainment television.
but I was thinking
They just jump on the back of pretty much everything else that's going on, and then use that to funnel viewers to them.
right.
I didn't expect to go on a rant about E right now, but sorry to interrupt you, Drew. Go ahead.
Right. But we all enjoy 30 for 30s. I was just thinking in my head, and I actually had to take a pause from work for about 30 minutes because how pissed I got over something that potentially could happen, potentially couldn't. If the Chiefs would go on to win the Super Bowl this year, that there would be a 30 for 30 about that. The Travis and Taylor situation, and then the Chiefs would go on to win a Super Bowl, and it was a love story. I cringed. If that happened, I almost jumped out the front window of my house. I'm not even kidding. That's how pissed off I got. That's something that hasn't even happened. To all the people out there that think it's scripted, that if that happens, I might jump on that bandwagon with you. I might do that. But for right now, it hasn't happened yet. And I'm going to go light a candle at church tomorrow. But for that not to happen. But Nate, what do you think on that, though? Trevor's point.
Yeah. As for the Chiefs, this is a interesting time for them. We talked about it a few weeks ago. They're a different football team right now. Their skill guys are down. Their line is a little susceptible. I mean, they're one of the most penalized lines. I think the most penalized line in the NFL. They have so many holding penalties on pass plays. It's crazy. And part of that's Pat Mahomes weaving and running around like a crazy person. That's what he does. So they're going to have some.
Yeah.
I mean, they have the most penalized linemen in the NFL on their team, and then they're the most penalized group on their team. And it's mostly on their passes, and that just takes the wind out of your sails. So they got to clean that up. That's first and foremost. They need to continue to ride Pacheco. That kid, that kid is one of the toughest football players I think I've ever seen. He is not a really big dude. He's built. Don't get me wrong. You got to be at least big enough. But pound for pound, he is one of the meanest, toughest dudes ever. I mean, like, he is unreal out there. And they just need to keep riding him as best they can. I will also say this. I know Jerick McKinnon is injured. I don't know when this dude comes back, but he is a layer to the offense that they are missing because he is a spark in the run game. He's a different kind of runner than Pacheco. He can get to the outside a little better. And he's really dynamic in the passing game. He does great out of the slot, does great out of the backfield, catching the ball. And he's a great safety net. I mean, I remember at the end of last year, he was hotter than a firecracker for fantasy owners. And people kind of doubted him for a few weeks. And then all of a sudden, he just week after week, touchdown. He won a game against the Texans with a touchdown in overtime. He had another touchdown in that game. I mean, they're missing that dude really bad. And everybody keeps wanting to say, oh, they're missing Tyreek Hill, they're missing Schuster. Sure, yeah, they are. But they're missing that Jerick McKinnon wrinkle in there. Without him in there, they're a little bit of a different team there too. So, yeah, I don't know what they're going to do. Like, they're trying everything to get Justin Watson and Sky Moore and Rice and MVS and Kelsey and Noah Gray and anybody else the ball. But they just can't spread it around the same way that they have been. Because, like, what makes the 49ers so great to me and the Eagles when they're on, they just have the mouths that can get fed, and they feed them all, and they feed them well. Like, there's drives where it's like Kittle gets 2 catches, McCaffrey runs the ball 3 times, Dabo gets the ball twice, and then Ayuk might get the touchdown. And it's like, geez, what are you supposed to do? And then, like, as soon as you might forget about, somebody, you might get somebody who cheats off somebody like Jennings, and then Jennings will get a big bomb catch. And it's like, who can we leave open? And you just can't. And right now, the Chiefs just can't. They can't spread it around. They're not built that way. It's Pacheco, and Kelsey, and that's about it. And I'm going to also say this: Swifties, don't get mad. Travis is a fine young man, but the dude does not quite look the same out there right now.
Mm.
He's started to lose his magic. I think he's progressing he's digressing a little bit. And that's age, and I think he's worn out with some of these runs, he's worn out with media. He's got other interests in his life. I think he's kind of on the downgrade. And can you imagine how hard it is to be a 6'6", 250-pound tight end and play at that level for that long? I mean, that's a big gentleman out there, So might be his time that his body's starting to feel some of these hits, and he's a little slower, not as nimble, and he is not quite the same impact player that he was even just last year. Still very good. Still might be the GOAT by the end of his career in terms of tight ends, but even he looks a little susceptible and old these days, unfortunately. And I'm a fan of Travis Kelce. I am. I think he's a great football player, but he's starting to kind of look at his age a little bit. I personally think so. Yeah, Chiefs are weird this year, man, and I'm all about it. I as a unit, I could care less if they keep winning because I'm tired of them.
Right. Hey Trevor, let me quote Mickey here from Rocky, huh? It's all in the hey, it hurts the legs, Rock. Hurts the legs. Maybe that's playing a factor as well, boys.
Yeah.
But Trevor,
yeah, maybe.
But I didn't know if you wanted to do pick 'em or if you wanted me to take it. I didn't. It's up to you.
I did want to say one more thing real quick about the Chiefs. You brought up MVS. They're trying to get him the ball. He can't freaking catch the ball. Him and Quentin Johnston both cannot catch the ball right now. And side note here, each receiver that was drafted below Quentin Johnston has 400 or more yards this season.
Yep.
Quentin Johnston has 194, I believe it is, somewhere in that neighborhood.
Yep.
So for those that took a late round flyer for him in fantasy or took him as a late round pick in best ball thinking he was going to light it up, myself included, I did that. Too bad, so sad.
Right.
I'm going to say this about Quentin Johnston. I was out on this kid, and I'll tell you exactly why. And I'm not saying it's to toot my own horn. I've talked with my good friend Cortland Smith about some of these Big 12 wide receivers over the last 10 years. Corey Coleman was a sure thing out of Baylor, and he did nothing in the NFL. We had Jalen Reagor, who was a sure thing, who they thought was better than Justin Jefferson. And now
drafted ahead of Justin Jefferson.
I mean, this guy. Then we've had who else in the past? We've had Lima Swede. We've had all these other guys because it's so wide open. It's so wide open. The defensive level is not there.
No.
I don't care if you're a track star in the Big 12. You can run a 4.2 40 and you're catching balls right in stride because there's nobody close to you. You know what I mean? And that was Quentin Johnston to me last year. He was just catching these bombs down the sideline or like 25-yard passes across the middle because he just dominated some little 5'8" corner and just caught the ball across the middle. This is the NFL. And here's the other thing about Quentin Johnston. He was like the 4th or 5th receiver coming into the year on a team that throws the ball very well. And Keenan Allen is a catch machine, maybe one of the best route runners and wide receivers that nobody freaking talks about in the whole history of the game. I mean, this guy's that good and that consistent.
Agreed.
And then, they have a great team. And then you have two pretty good running backs. I mean, Eckler's amazing. And then Joshua Kelly, he's a pretty good supplemental back too. So, yeah, just wanted to throw that out about Quentin Johnston. And I'm going to say this. Wide receivers, you can find them in late round. Quit picking them so freaking high.
Oh, yeah.
I think it's stupid. The Pittsburgh Steelers are the epitome of late round receivers. Deontay Johnson, Antonio Brown, Hines Ward, Randall. I mean, they pick guys who aren't even a freaking receiver. And they're going to be – Hines Ward might be a Hall of Famer. He's a finalist again.
Right.
Like, here's it matters who the person is, not that he had 1,500 yards and 20 touchdowns in the Big 12. That doesn't matter. I'm sorry. So that's my rant about wide receivers. That teams don't consider that in my
I got you. No, I get it. But Pickham's here. very interesting week again, boys. I was looking at the lines here, looking at the spreads. Lead us off this week, though, Pittsburgh Steelers against the Patriots. I think we all can agree who we want to win. It better goddamn happen. But so the Steelers are favored here in the line, but spreads at 6. Trevor, I don't know if you're seeing the same thing over there.
Yes.
Again, I'm not. I would not take that spread for the Steelers. No, but I have the Steelers money line all day. Nate, Trevor.
Yeah, go ahead, Nate.
I'm going to pick the under. we might see 10 points, and I hate to even be that guy, but we might see 10 points.
Okay.
We're going to see an Iowa-like football game out there. To put it into perspective, the Army-Navy game that's happening this weekend, I encourage people to watch it, because if you want to see some old school football coming man-on-man football, that's it. 28.5. 28.5.
Wow.
And we know that those lines,
Yep.
the fact that we're within 2 points of that in a National Football League game is kind of sickening.
Yeah.
And it's crazy. But yeah, I'm going to pick the Steelers. They got to bounce back, right? I mean, this New England team, they've scored less than 10 points, I think, in 3 straight games. They didn't even score a point last game. We don't know who's starting in any of these games for them. Their players avoid the questions. Bill Bell avoids questions. Julius Peppers comes out and says, yeah, you're lucky we asked, to Saquon Barkley. This team's in shambles, man, and I'm here for it. But we're not far behind. We got Najee Harris, who's lipping off. Deontay, who celebrates catches down 14 points. We have Mike T, who can't win a big game to save his life. And we got Kenny Pickett out, and the 3-ring circus of backup quarterbacks coming to display their ugly heads on Thursday night. But regardless, I'm picking the Steelers in an absolute snooze fest, slobber knocker type game, and I might fall asleep in the middle of it, because there's not going to be a lot of offense. So, yeah, I'm going to go Steelers.
Oh, hey, I tell you what, I do have early afternoon flight to Arizona the next day, so I might just catch up on my sleep. Just go to bed at like 10, wake up, see the score was 7-3 Steelers, and be happy with a win. Am I taking that spread? Hell to the no, I'm not. Absolutely not. I'm not taking the Steelers to win by 6 points. I know it's the Patriots. I know it's the 2023 Patriots, and I know it's the same Patriots that are threatening to take Bill Belichick away from his job, and they can't figure out the quarterback situation, and they scored under 10 points the last 3 games and have lost all of them. Or excuse me, they've allowed 10 points in the under 10 points, or excuse me, they've allowed 10 points or less in the last 3 games, lost all of them. That is some Iowa Hawkeyes cornfield bullshit right there. Good God almighty, that is awful. And the Steelers, well, you covered the Steelers, Nate. We covered the Steelers earlier. Mike Tomlin, he can't win the big games. He can't even win the little games, apparently. He can't be, he can't beat freaking Bruce Gradkowski.
I forgot that one. Jeez.
Oh yeah, you forgot. How could you forget that one? They scored 35 points, and I don't know if they scored 35 points the entire rest of the season. They scored 35 points against the Steelers. Yeah. All that said, Mike Tomlin doesn't lose 2 trap games in a row. I mean, the Steelers in like a 7-3 game where we get the 7 by 2 field goals and a safety.
Gotcha.
Actually, that would be 8.
8, but yeah.
I did my math wrong. I'm an accountant. I did my math wrong.
Yeah, no, 2 safeties and a field goal. We beat them 7-3, Iowa State over San Diego State, just to make people look like we scored a touchdown and only gave up a field goal. But no, really, it was.
Who scored that touchdown? Deontay? No, Watt had 2 safeties and Boswell kicked a 50-yarder.
Yep. And it's believable. That's the sad part.
Yes. No, I know. Right. Oh my God! I mean, I'll be tuning in. I'm gonna regret it, but I'm gonna be tuning in. So.
Yeah. I have to throw out there. Watching, because I'm just a psycho when it comes to Tom's press conference. I watched the whole thing. The only thing
you are a psycho for that, by the way. I don't know how you can sit through all those Tomlinisms and coach speak. I can barely sit through 5 minutes of that crap before I'm yelling at my phone or my television or whatever device I'm watching it on.
Right. But
I need to
it's okay.
goose fraba. That's what I need to do right now.
You're good. I love the intensity of Night Boys. I love
Goose fraba. Go ahead, Drew. Sorry I interrupted you again.
No, I don't care. Malik Cunningham, he throws that name out, and he kind of his face kind of went blank when that reporter asked that. Why? I just want to know why the hell is he shitting himself over a third string quarterback? Because he's mobile, but we've been okay against mobile quarterbacks. So that kind of made me say, okay, I'm not taking the spread here because I already put it in. But just his reaction to that question, what the hell? But you don't believe in yourself now, Mike? I mean, what the fuck? Like God. Well, they do have a mobile quarterback at third string, Mike. He goes, yeah, we're aware of that. We're really pressing on that issue this week. The schematics of the game. I go, okay, hold on. You're throwing schematics at a third string. What the fuck? What are we? Oh, all right. I got to move on because my blood pressure's getting high too, Trevor.
Did you pick the Steelers or what?
Yeah, Steelers money line all day.
Yeah, Steelers. Okay. Minus 295. You're not getting good money on it, but you know.
Yeah. I took them against the Chiefs Pens last game. I knew they were going to get shit stomped, but I just can't bet against them. I never can. But Rams, Ravens, the line is in the Ravens' favor all the way. Spread 7.5. I have Ravens. I'm concerned with that spread, though. I would only go maybe 4 or 5, but I wouldn't go 7.5. What do you boys think?
Yeah.
Trevor,
I'll go. Lamar Jackson against an NFC team.
Yep.
Lamar Jackson against an NFC team. I don't think I need any more of an argument.
Okay.
Yep.
I don't know. That spread is a little high, but look at what they did to the Lions.
Correct.
It's believable.
Right.
It's believable. I'm going to literally decide the day of whether I'm going to go alt spread and subtract points from the Ravens or add points and go to 9.5 and say they're going to win by double digits, because I could easily see that happening, especially with the Ravens at home too. They're phenomenal at home. That and the Rams defense. Rams defense isn't that great right now.
Yep. I think Ravens will win. I think they'll cover the spread. I think they'll win by double digits. The Rams are playing pretty decent football, but I think the Ravens they're in good shape. They're at home. The Rams got to come the whole way across the country, and I think that Puka Nacua is a little hurt. Cooper Kupp's not getting the ball very much. The offense has been okay lately, better than what it was a couple games ago. But yeah, I think the Ravens they'll dominate the line of scrimmage. And I think the Ravens will cover that and win by 10 plus.
Okay. And then we got this is going to be an interesting game here. Panthers, Saints. Saints are favorited. The spread's 5.5. Derek Carr playing, or is he not playing this game? Do we know on that?
I believe he's questionable.
Okay.
Yep. Might be Jim.
No designation yet. I don't. I know he's dealing with the shoulder stuff. He's been dealing with that all year. He's been in and out of the lineup, but
right,
questionable as we speak.
Well, excuse the language in advance here, but Carolina Panthers organization, it's a clusterfuck. It's a garbage dumpster fire. The owner needs to just sell the team. He's up there right now with that Dan Schneider, that jackass that owned the Commanders.
Well,
but I'm going to go
at least, Drew, we don't think he's touched anyone inappropriately. So.
Correct. I mean, that might come out, but yeah, I got to.
No, he's just doing a horrible job running the team, is what he's doing. He's running that team into the ground. At least he's not, like I said, he's not.
He's an asshole. We can agree on
that. Yeah, but anyway, you said Saints.
Spread in money line all day.
Spread and money line? Okay. Nate, I'll let you go because I'm thinking it over.
I think it'll be close. The Saints stink right now. They stink.
Yes.
They stink. It ticks me off. There's no team that should have more promise in the NFL than the Saints. They just refuse to draft a quarterback, and they keep patching it together with the bad news Bears. Credit to Cole. Cole said that Derek Carr sucked 4 months ago, 5 months ago. He did. So I'm going to give Cole his flowers for saying that they can have him. We don't want Jimmy, but they can have Derek, or whatever the crap his name is, Derek David. They're starting to be one and the same now because they're playing like one another.
Correct.
But
Right.
I think it'll be close, but I think the Saints will win in a close game, divisional game. I kind of would like to see Jameis out there in the Taysom Hill, hybrid offense a little bit, because I think that would be the way they win this game. Hard to game plan for that. I think you just say, Derek Carr, we don't know what he's going to do all week, and then you come out and then you just play all of them. Just throw them all out there. What do you got to lose? They're in the mix for their play for the division, and the NFC South. It's really South. It's in the complete shitter right now. That division sucks. But maybe you just don't tell anybody what you're doing and just come out and just throw everything out there. So I'll go Saints in a close one, but this is a game I think the Panthers will contest in for sure.
Yeah, to your point, Nate, I saw a little something on Instagram the other day. NFC South has the worst combined record in football of all the divisions. And it's easy to see why. I mean, Christ, the Panthers already eliminated from playoff contention. We still got 5 games to go. 1-11. It's absolutely brutal for that organization right now. They can't figure it out at all. I mean, they fired Frank Reich, who first head coach in NFL history to be fired mid-season in 2 straight seasons. It's just they might have figured out that they took the wrong quarterback. Well, quite frankly, I think they did figure that one out. I think they're figuring that one out the hard way now that Stroud is, he's a lock for Rookie of the Year. You're not getting any plus money on that anymore.
Nope.
And then he's like the 6th or 7th favorite for the MVP race.
Yep.
And then, but you take Bryce Young. Okay, fine. And then you stick him with Frank Reich, who didn't want him in the first place. And then you are where you deserve to be. And quite frankly, so are the Saints. I mean, Christ, they haven't. I don't believe they've drafted a quarterback since Aaron Brooks, if I'm not mistaken. I don't think they've drafted a quarterback since then, at least a starter.
They haven't drafted a quarterback in the first round in 60 years.
Archie.
Yeah.
They drafted Archie, and they haven't drafted a quarterback in the first round since. That's amazing.
Come on, man. Like, I get it. You get Drew Brees for 15, 18 years. I get it. I totally get it. But,
yes.
Come on. Will you make it invest? I think they're so afraid to get it wrong, get made fun of. I think that's part of it. Like, it's crazy.
I don't know. I don't know. But
playing these bad news Bears in there. Pick someone. Come on. Gosh.
Right.
All that to say, I'll pick the Saints in a close one as well. Over under for that one, 37.5. I'm going under.
Yeah.
And then we got the Colts Bengals. This is probably one of the. Oh well, we got all these games now further down, boys. It's back and forth action here. Spreads at 1.5. I want the Colts to win just because I don't want to see the Bengals win. I'm going to go Colts on that. But the spread, fucking take 1.5. Why not?
Oh yeah.
I don't know what you boys think on this, but I Gardner Minshew, Trevor. I've been about that guy since Jacksonville days. I love him. I think he's like a Taylor Heineke. He's never got a fair fucking shot, and he's not the greatest, but he's not bad at times. So I mean, serviceable. I mean, that's what I look at. So I got Colts all the way, and I'll take the
Drew, I tell you what list Gardner Minshew is pretty high on. Guys that I want to have a beer with. I want to have a beer with that guy, or 14 team. I want to have a few with him. But all that said, you like that reference, Nate? Anyway, little inside joke between me and him. Sorry. The Colts have found ways to win close games games recently, and this one's going to be no exception. Jake Browning showed what he can do, but at the same time, Gardner Minshew has been able to provide the Colts with a couple of these comeback efforts in these last couple of weeks. And just for spite of wanting the Bengals to lose, I'll take the Colts as well. I think they're a serious playoff contender, and and this is something I wanted to touch on earlier. There's a serious possibility that 3 teams from the AFC South will make the playoffs.
Right.
Just throwing that out there now. Who would have thought that?
Right.
Nope.
Who would have thought that? We talked AFC North the whole time, and we talked AFC South. Oh, Houston's not going to be that great. Tennessee's going to have a down year. Indianapolis is meh. But here we are. There's a serious possibility that 3 teams out of that division could make the playoffs, and the Colts could be one of them. They're in a playoff spot right now, and I think they'll continue that. I think they win against the Bengals, and like you said, Drew, spread's 1.5. Why the hell not?
Yeah, fuck it. Just throw it on there. Don't be shy about it.
Yeah. I'm gonna go Bengals because I think it screws around with the AFC playoff picture a little bit more. Jake Browning showed us a lot yesterday. That dude was throwing it all over the yard. He looked great. He looked unbelievable. He didn't look like he's been transacted 23 times since 2019. I'll tell you that. I'll tell you that right now. He didn't look like that. And whoever was transacting him 23 times, they're missing a little bit of something. Holy Pete. Coming into that his first start, only threw 20 passes in the NFL before. So I don't know. Good for that dude, regardless of what happens. But yeah, I think that the Bengals are going to somehow get that done. But I don't know. Like, it's going to be a great game. I think that might be one of the games of the weekend for sure. The Colts have been winning close games a lot. Some high scoring ones, some low scoring ones. They won a close game this week. But yeah, I think the Bengals are going to get it done just to make things a little bit more hairy in the AFC playoff picture. So yeah, I'm going to go Bengals. I don't know. I like how they looked on Monday night. That was their first Monday Night Football win in a long time, long time. So good for them.
Right. No, I was trying to look up how to pronounce the freaking backup quarterback for the Jaguars.
DJ Beathard, whatever the heck his name is.
Beathard. Beathard. Okay, we'll just fucking Beathard. Okay. Jacksonville Jaguars and the Browns. The Browns are favored, but it's very close. Spreads 3. Yeah. CJ Beathard or whatever the hell his name is. Good luck to you. You're not Trevor Lawrence. I wish you good luck, though. I have the Browns winning this, and I will take the spread at 3. The Jaguars season, I don't know the extent of Trevor's, how long he's going to be out, but really just stuck a knife in their season here at the worst possible time. So prayers for him. I do enjoy him. I've said it so many times. He should be on a L'Oreal commercial for his hair or whatever. But no, I got Browns all the way, and I'll take the spread at 3. Trevor, what do you think here? Or Nate?
Yeah,
Nader,
I think it'll be a close game for sure. I don't know. It's really hard to pick. Are they starting Joe Flacco? I mean, he looked okay, but I'm going to tell you what. Joe Flacco always starts these tenures with these teams like a ball of fire, and then he starts to stink. I don't know why. So I'm actually going to go. I'm going to go Jaguars. I can't trust Joe Flacco, and I'm gonna say this. I've been on this train for a while. Joe Flacco and Kevin Stefanski look like brothers. They look like long lost brothers to me, and it's so great to see them both representing the Browns. If you do a side by side with them, they look similar. In my opinion, I don't know why I think that they're kind of doppelgangers. I hadn't seen them in the same room until Joe Flacco signed a couple of days ago with the Browns, but now they definitely are two different people. But regardless, no, I'm going to go. I'm going to go Jags in this one. They got to win. They really need this win. Yes. I think they're going to use Ernest Johnson and Travis Etienne a lot, and they're just going to try to do check down passes with Beathard and just kind of chunked their way down the field with Ingram and goodness gracious, I'm going to tell you this. If Parker Washington keeps getting the ball like this, I'm going to be so frustrated because dude didn't for 3 months, and then he had the game of his freaking life last night and was taking catches away from Calvin Ridley, and and run away from ETN. I had a big parlay going. It ticked me off. But sorry, off topic. I'm going to go Jaguars in this one.
I'm with an 8. I think it's going to be check down Charlie for the Jaguars, and I think the Browns, they specialize in pass rush, right? Myles Garrett and the boys there, Javian Clowney and others, they're going to be somewhat stifled by the guys that can get in space for the Jaguars. You got your Calvin Ridleys, you got your Christian Kirks, you got your Evan Ingrams, and you even got, guys that can catch the ball in the backfield, and ETN and Dearness Johnson. And I know DTR is still dealing with that concussion. And then Flacco is the elite Joe Flacco that we all remember. Quite frankly, a shell of that, and that's probably being nice.
Yeah.
But no, give me the Jags. Give me the Jag as 3-point road dogs. I'll take money line on that as well. And actually, I might take the over on that. That one's 30.5 as well.
Yeah. And one thing, even despite the Christian Kirk injury, he's out for a while. He's going to have surgery on a core muscle that he tore or injured on Monday night. But they got a lot of mouths to feed on offense. Parker Washington came out of nowhere. If he can play anywhat like that again, that's solid. They got Parker Washington playing well. They got Ridley, they got ETN, Dearness John. That's quite the crew for Beathard to just check down to. So I agree with you, Trevor. But just wanted to add about Christian Kirk. He's out.
I forgot about him being injured. Thank you.
And then we got just 2 teams that have just ruined every money line parlay I've done. I hate these. I don't even want to say what I want to say. Anyways, the Falcons and Buccaneers here. It's a very close game, 2.5 spread. Shit. I don't believe in Arthur Smith. I'm not betting on this game. But if I have to pick, I'm going to pick the Bucs because there's some value in there with the +1, with the plus number there. But I'm not touching the spread. I'll do money line. That's it. But Bucs all the way. Because the Falcons literally have a pedigree fucking tight end. And I say it every week. They don't know how to fucking use them. So
we discuss this frequently on Madden, yes.
So how about you just go ahead and pay out his contract and let him off. Just let him free. Let him go. Let him just – seriously. I mean, I've never seen a team that drafts a guy like that. He's a generational talent. I think could have maybe been one of the best tight ends. Not ever, but at least top, 3 or 5 in the league right now. And you just totally fucking miss. Yep. So fuck them. I'm going Buccaneers. I hope, just they miss every year, and that's fine. And their owner sucks. So I go Buccaneers.
What did the Falcons do last week? They won, right?
They won. Yeah, I had them losing.
They won?
Yeah.
Law of evens with the Falcons. I'll take the Buccaneers.
I'm taking the Buccaneers too. I picked against the Falcons the last 2 or 3 weeks, and they keep pissing me off and winning. I went back to not getting them right, and that's part of the reason that my life is ruined at this point. The Falcons are the pain in my side that I can't get rid of. They're a cramp that hits you in mile 2 of a 5K. They stink. I can't stand it. Will you please lose? I'm so tired of you guys. I'm tired of FedEx getting these wins and saving his job. He needs to go help his dad with the family business. So I'm going to go with the Buccaneers. They need to squeak back in the race a little bit. So do the Saints. So if all those scenarios hold true, the Saints win and the Bucs win and the Falcons lose, there's nice little competitive, spirit there at the top of the division that stinks. But yeah, it's kind of the scenario I want to see. So I'm going to go Buccaneers as well. And I just hope it happens. I am so tired of watching this Falcons teams underachieve. Arthur Smith out. Yeah. Tired of it.
The only position that Arthur Smith should be holding right now is asking two questions. Would you like cream and sugar in your coffee? And where would you like me to get your coffee? At FedEx.
No,
That's what he should be doing right now.
It's would you like 1 or 2 day shipping? That's the only question.
That's good. Overnight. Yeah,
would you like your package delivered to the correct address or your neighbor's address?
Yeah.
I had that running.
Is this fragile or no?
Yes.
Like that's the other one. I mean,
Nah. Wing crack.
No.
Sorry about it.
Yeah, no, I don't know how you could be a Falcons fan, but we appreciate you nonetheless. The Chicago Bears and the Detroit Lions. I'm wondering why this game is so close. Trevor, if you're seeing the lines here, I mean,
I'm seeing them.
We're very close here. Spread all day. I'm taking 3. The Lions against the Bears, and I'm taking money line. But I don't know who the hell's jacking these lines up that it's making it seem like a competitive game here. like, did the whole state of Illinois just say, "Hey, we're going to bet this week on the Bears being the Lions"? I mean, what the fuck is
Yeah.
That's
I don't know. The Lions defense, they give up a lot of points.
right.
They give up a lot of points. And I said earlier this year Lions would have a top 5 defense. I missed on that one. But not the first thing that I missed on. Their center, Frank Ragnow, is also questionable this upcoming week. I believe he might have even gotten hurt on either Thanksgiving or this past week. He's a big key guy on their offensive line. That as well as CJ Gardner-Johnson, he's still out. Pretty key guy there in their secondary. What secondary that they do have, CJ Gardner-Johnson's the main cog in that. Why it's so close, I don't know. The last few Lions games have been pretty close. They've all been within a score. Actually, the last 4 Lions games have all been within a score, so I can see why people might say, hey, maybe the Bears will contest with them, but I can't believe in the Bears for a single second of this season. I'm taking Detroit all the way here. To cover as well. To cover comfortably, and I will take the over. I think it's only 40.5 somehow. So
Yes,
the Lions might get that by themselves.
Yeah. Yep. I agree with you there, Trevor. I'd take the over. I do think that it'll be a 1-score game, but I do think the Lions will win by 3.5 or more, or more. I think they'll cover that.
Touchdown or so, yeah.
Yeah. So I'll take the Lions, but don't be surprised if this is a close game for a while because it's a divisional game. These teams know each other well. The Lions have not played great the last month. They've scored a lot of points, but they've given up a lot of points, and they've blown a lot of leads,
yes.
or they've down for most of the game. And they, one game they were down 11, and I think they scored like 14 points in 2 minutes or less, and they snuck out a win. So they're not playing their best ball right now, but really, it's okay to not play your best right now as long as you get it cleaned up, by the end of the regular season and stuff. But yeah, I don't really like the way that the Lions are heading. But regardless, the Bears they're sorry right now. It stinks to see this team continue to go through it and not change their philosophy and continue to have an owner who's 175 years old who I don't even think she knows she owns the Bears, unfortunately. But yeah, I'm going to go for the Lions.
Jesus.
Sorry, man.
Hey, he's not wrong. He's not wrong. Oh God. She was born in the 30s, and the Bears have a philosophy of football in the 30s. So
here's to put it in perspective. She has met every single coach but one coach in the history of the Bears franchise.
Holy shit.
She's met every coach. She's that old.
Well, the reason I'm laughing is because they showed her and they I don't know if it was something going on. And it just seemed like she wasn't even there. And I felt so terrible because all these people were trying to get autographs from her and take photos with her. And it just looked like this poor old lady just wanted left the hell alone. It was what the fuck is this? Oh.
Yeah. I mean, let's put it in perspective. Her and Sister Jean, they're like about the same age. Like,
Oh,
and
wow.
they're,
Okay.
they're in the same city. Like these two are close. Like it's crazy. So I don't know, something in the water in Chicago, keeping these women spry and keeping them youthful or something. But yeah, man, I hate to say this, but like the Raiders, they haven't turned around, but they've been closer to being more consistently relevant once Al Davis passed away. I hate to say that, I'm not. Al Davis is a legend, but like it's like,
Oh my God, yes.
it's kind of like, do we need, like, why are you owning this still? Like, I love the lady's great, she's fine, but like, pass it off. Like, don't do this. Don't do this to your family anymore. Like, come on, man. Like, I even think that like Joe Paterno was like that at the end too.
Right.
Like, come on, quit doing it. Quit doing this to yourself.
And you bring up the Al point, and I get in this argument all the time. I don't know if Trevor, I know he's said on the show before, he has a lot of people in his life that are Raiders fans. I think watching his 30 for 30 a couple days ago, it kind of seemed like at the latter part there, it was all like, fuck the NFL. I want to start controversy. I don't even care about.
I don't care if I win.
Yeah, like it's just a circus. We're going here. We're going over here. We're going to Anaheim. No, we're not going to Anaheim. We're going to Vegas. We're going back to LA. Like, I don't know. I get it though. I get what he's saying. I do. I think sometimes it's just people just want to hold on to something that's just not there anymore and just let it go. Just let it go, man. Like,
it's not a shot. It's
take the advice of Elsa from Frozen. Let it go.
She knows, man.
Right. No,
she knows.
They had to bring it back for a second movie to remind us.
Right.
Nah, I know. Yeah, I know.
The Texans and the Jets here, very close. Not very. I mean, pretty close than it should be. I think it should be more of a landslide towards the Texans side. I see a blowout here, boys. Spread, it's at 5.5. Salah, I think, is going to have a hemorrhage by the end of the season because of the quarterback situation. We have a circus on the side with Aaron Rodgers throwing passes on the field. That's great. Still want to know what the hell's going on with that. But anyways, I have the Texans spread all day at 5.5 in the money line against the Jets.
Who's starting for the Jets? Simeon?
I think so.
Yeah, I think so too.
Made all of his way from Denver to Colorado.
For that reason alone, if the Alabama Crimson Tide were playing the Jets this week, I'd probably pick the Crimson Tide.
I wouldn't pick that.
No, I'm just joking around. I probably wouldn't pick.
Yeah,
but well, if 2019 LSU was playing the Jets, that might be
maybe.
Go Tigers, But no, I'm all over the Texans here. They'll cover 5.5, I think, comfortably. And another low over under here, 32.5. And we talked about this a couple weeks ago. Scoring down in the NFL, the over unders are a reflection of that right now. A lot of games in the low 40s and 30s. Not good. Not good for viewership anyway. Anyway, Texans all the way. CJ Stroud. He might not do all that well, but they'll win the game.
I see like a 24th fucking 6 game here. Like
something like that. Yeah. The Texans might, maybe that's why the over under is what it's at 32.5.
Yeah.
Jets can't score for shit.
No.
I can't pick them right now. I hate to say it, but the Jets have been on auto fade for several weeks now.
You go all the way back from the beginning of the season. They're going to the fucking Super Bowl. A-Rod's in the building. And now, who the hell would have thought at this point we'd be saying, I don't even want to talk about this.
I tell you, I did not have Brett Rypien being in the NFL again on my bingo card for this year.
Nope.
Tell you that.
Yeah. Oh, brother. The Jets. The Jet. Blue doesn't want to play anymore. He wants to. He doesn't want to play. Maybe the biggest bust in the history of the NFL. This dude.
Close to it. close
Trevor,
to it.
Trevor Simeon should have been starting way earlier in the season. I personally think he's the best one left on the roster. I really do, which is great.
Yeah, that's saying a lot. That's
Yeah,
saying a lot.
But yeah, I'm glad that Trevor Simeon's getting his shot. He's been a starter before. Not an amazing quarterback, but has been a starter in different teams for, several years. So I'm glad he's getting a shot. But, I think the Texans will be able to score enough points. The Jets can't do anything. They're so predictable. Robert Saleh might lose his job over this whole mess because he wasn't prepared for the worst case scenario of Rodgers going down. There was nobody brought in. There was plenty of options. There was Colt McCoy. There was McSorley. There was Josh Dobbs. There was all these options that they could have had. There was Tannehill. There was all these people that they could have possibly had. And instead, you went with freaking Brett Ripien, Tim Boyle, who has more picks in college than touchdowns, and same thing in the NFL. And JetBlue, that's who you went with. And it's not working, buddy. And you got all these powerhouse football players on the defensive side that are just exhausted out there. And you got one of the worst lines in the NFL as well, to not protect anybody, can't run the ball, can't get any time. So it's a train wreck on offense.
That Vera Tucker injury, I didn't think it would impact them this much, but it really has.
Bad. It's really bad. So, yeah, I agree with you. You guys said 24-6. I think that's about spot on. I think Stroud will throw for like 230 yards, a rushing touchdown, and a passing touchdown. And that'll be shoot them through. I like the Texans in that one.
I will say the only thing I like about Trevor Simeon is the fact that he shares a name with me. That's about it.
Right. What they need to do, and I haven't came up with a fake story in a long time while we've been live. So here's another good one for you. I think we should get rid of Zach Wilson, give him a care package, hook him up with some mom, roughly about 45, 50 age, set him down to Barbados with a set up penthouse down there, and just keep him the fuck away from the NFL. Just set him out, because his mind has been more focused on trying to find them numbers to the hotels these mothers are staying in than playing on the goddamn football field.
And in the words of the great band, the Beach Boys, send him to Kokomo.
Yep.
Get him out of New York.
He doesn't want to be.
Get him out of New York. The fact that guy's going to get an NFL pension drives me up a wall.
Oh yeah.
Potentially, he might get an NFL pension.
He doesn't even need it. The dude made like $35 million in his rookie contract, and his uncle is one of the richest men in the world. He doesn't need a pension.
Yeah.
He's gonna be just fine.
He will.
Will. Second biggest line difference here. We got the Seahawks and 49ers. Spread's 10.5. And then the over-under is 46.5. I think it's a no-brainer. 49ers all the way. For some reason, the Pete Carroll defense, I'm a little concerned with the spread there. Wouldn't go that high. I know you guys might, but I think this is an over game. I think 46.5 is kind of short.
I mean, rarely do you see a double-digit spread on a division game.
Yeah.
But quite frankly, I think this warrants it with how San Francisco's been playing. Okay. And the way Seattle's found ways to contend, not contend, and then contend again, and then not contend again. Give me the steady contender. San Francisco all the way. Like we said earlier, their only threat to the winning out is Baltimore on Christmas.
Right.
Yeah.
I think they cruise to this one. 10.5, it's a weird number. They could win by exactly 10 and you could get screwed. I don't know how much I would touch the spread, maybe go alt on it, but no, Niners, easy.
Yeah, I think the Niners win easy, but I'm going to take the under on it. It's a divisional game. The Seahawks need it. They need it desperately. They need to have this.
In the worst way.
Yeah, so I think they're going to contend, but yeah, I'm going to go with 49ers, but wouldn't be like I know that it might be shocking to you guys, but I wouldn't be entirely surprised if the Seahawks really upset them right now, because they're coming off such a high and it's a divisional game and the Seahawks need to have it. So but no, I'm still going to pick the 49ers. I mean, I'm not crazy, but wouldn't be entirely shocked if like this was like a field goal at the end and Myers buries them to win the game, just because they want to keep the NFC competitive, and they come off such a huge win, a blowout, and they're high, they're on a high. But no, I still think the 49ers are the better team by a lot, so I'll go with them, but I'm going to go with the Seahawks to cover.
Yeah. And then we got the Broncos and Chargers. Staley better be fired at the end of the season. Spread 2.5.
He's going to be.
Very
I think
close.
this is the year for that, but yeah.
Very close money line. I don't know, boys. The Broncos are a wish-wash team. They could come in the Los Angeles there and kick the shit out of them, or hold them to nothing. I don't know. I'm not touching this game, but if I got to pick a team, I'm going to take the favorite Chargers, but I don't know.
I'm going to take Denver.
Okay.
I think this might be Staley's last game.
Oh, wow.
Yep.
Okay.
He's on super thin ice. I keep seeing it.
Spicy.
Yep. So if you lose this one, I think they're pretty much out of the playoffs. So then you make the change. I'm going to go with the Broncos. They scored 6 points and won last week. Their offense this is the worst they've looked in the Justin Herbert era. They look terrible. They're banged up in the wide receiver room. Their defense is missing Bosa. They give up a ton of yards. They have Judy and Cortland Sutton, who are big play threats. So yeah, I'm going to go with Denver. I think their physicality will be too much.
Gotcha.
I think you stole my script for that one, Nate. I was going to say pretty much the same thing, but no, I'm with Denver as well. I don't know if this is Staley's last game, but he's coming up on it pretty damn quick. And then he can go do what Rex Ryan said and go coach D3 football and win a national championship. That'd be yeah. I tell you, Rex Ryan he used to be pretty intolerable. He's okay now. He's getting better.
Yep.
He's getting better. He's a little more tame, but he might be right on about Mr. Staley though. So.
And then fan base that has took a lot of abuse from me this whole season. Who's
that?
The Bills. The highs and the lows, the smashing of the tables, the chicken wing eating, the obnoxious fan base.
Hey now! Do not shit on Buffalo's chicken wings. I've had them; they're phenomenal.
Pretty good.
No. I'm saying I think the players are eating too much before the game.
Can you blame them?
Right.
Can you blame? There's protein, and I know this is polarizing. Blue cheese, I love it.
Yep,
I love it.
I absolutely hate blue cheese.
We've covered this. I know. We've covered this, but anyway, what's the game? Bills Chiefs. Bills
Chiefs here. I have the Bills. This is it. They lose this, they're done. They're done. That's just my opinion. If they, I think this has been the since the 13-second game. Didn't mean to break your hearts out there, Bills fans, for bringing that up. But I think this is going to be a game that the Chiefs just have their number again. I don't know why. The Bills and the spread's 2.5, so I got Chiefs on that, and I actually take it all the way up to 4.5. Chiefs.
I'm gonna go Bills.
Wow.
I'm gonna go Bills. It's do or die.
Okay.
It's do or die for the Bills. And Christ, who were they playing last week? They were playing a good team. Week before. Weren't they playing the Eagles? Was that overtime game?
Yep.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, they took the Eagles down to the wire in that game. They probably should have won it. Another overtime heartbreak for Josh Allen, I know. I don't think that's going to happen here.
Okay.
It's weird to pick against the Chiefs and Patty Mahomes and Andy Reid, especially in this era of the Chiefs, but kind of for the reasons I described earlier, and just the fact that the Bills, it's do or die now. If they lose another game, probably it.
Right.
Give me the Bills.
If it was at home, Trevor, I'd be on your train. Just because Arrowhead.
That's
I don't
fair.
know what the hell. I don't know. But sorry, Nate. Yeah.
This is a hard game, honestly.
Yes.
It really is
Yeah.
hard. I've seen the Bills lose so many of these, so I'm going to pick the Chiefs. Both teams have their backs against the wall. They're fighting a lot of distractions. The Chiefs are not scoring a lot of points, and they're losing because they can't make these magical runs that they've been making. The Bills are losing because they get up and then they can't stop anybody suddenly, and they can't play in the second half. I think it'll be close. I could easily see the Chiefs squeaking in a field goal. Butker makes his millionth field goal in a row, and then the Bills have a chance to come down and tie it or take the lead, and Josh Allen throws another pick or something. And
See that.
they'll bite his head off and say it's Josh Allen's fault by himself when Josh Allen is 95% of the offense. But yeah, I'm gonna go Chiefs. Tough place to play in Arrowhead, and the AFC is super competitive. The Bills are fading. Too much money wrapped up in Von Miller. Dude's not playing. Hasn't done crap this year. Yep, I'm gonna go with the Chiefs. I think that they can milk the game. I think they can run it with Pacheco, and that'll be the difference.
I will say if the Chiefs are going to win this game, they're going to have to possess the ball for 35 minutes or more.
Yep, I agree. It's big key to victory in that one. They got to win the possession, and they got to keep that Bills offense kind of out of rhythm, because even if they are
keep them on the sideline. Yep.
If they are up and down, they can score very fast, and they might get one of their weapons back. Dawson Knox might be back, so that would be a little bit helpful, marginally helpful anyway. So, but I'll still go Chiefs.
Yeah. And then I'd say game of the week here, boys. Eagles Cowboys. It's going to be an interesting one. I hate these two fan bases with a burning passion. Fuck it, I'm going to go Eagles. They got their teeth kicked in. I think they come back. The spread 3.5 though. That over though, Trevor, 52.5. That's a teetering point for me. So that's
Dallas scores a lot at home. Dallas scores a shit ton at home.
So that's
I don't know what it is, but they do.
It's going to be game time decision. I think it's going to be like the Bills Dolphins game. I think it's going to be an absolute fucking shootout. That's what I think.
Hope so.
So if anybody has players on the fantasy team there, anybody here, I see some shit happening. But Eagles all the way.
I have my thoughts, Nate, so I'll let you go first.
I'll go Eagles. I'll go under. I think the Eagles will win by running the ball, because that offense of the Cowboys scores so fast. But on the flip, Dallas is very susceptible through the passing game too. So I think I'll say this: short pass against a blitzing Cowboys team in the run game, I think will help them win. And I'll go under. But yeah, I don't know. It's gonna be a competitive one. I'm really hopeful that it's a high scoring game, but I don't think it will be. It seems like all these ones we get hyped up for being high scoring never seem to be in the ones that we're like, oh, last night I didn't expect that to be that high scoring. Goodness gracious, that was kind of crazy. So yeah, I'm gonna go under, and I'm gonna go Eagles. But wow, this would be a great opportunity for Dallas to get a huge win and climb into first place. So we'll see what happens. But Eagles is who I'm picking.
I think the unfortunate absence of Leighton Vander Esch for that Cowboys defense rears its ugly head in this one.
Yes.
It's going to force Micah Parsons to move to the middle, which he's obviously stronger to the outside. He's also strong in the middle, but he's a little bit stronger to the outside. It's going to force them to put him in the middle, and then they open up the passing game. They can still throw long bombs to Slim Reaper, freaking Devonta Smith, and A.J. Brown, who's having an Offensive Player of the Year caliber season himself. I think he's like 4th or 5th favorite for that.
Definitely.
So, no, I'm on the Eagles here too, and not just because I love to fade the Cowboys. The Cowboys, they haven't played anybody at home yet that's a serious contender in the NFC. So I'll take the Eagles. Eagles need a bounce back game too. And quite frankly, this game probably determines who wins that division.
Yep.
I'd say it. Well, obviously, it's a pretty high magnitude of that, but I'd say it's more than likely that's going to determine who wins the NFC East. Which is why I'm picking the Eagles, because I couldn't stand Cowboys fans if they actually won the division and, got their hopes up. But, at the same time, could be a blessing in disguise. They could get their hopes up and then get bounced in the first round by, I don't know, Seattle or something like that. So,
and then we got 2 Monday night games this week, boys. We got the Dolphins, Titans here. This is the biggest difference in money line here. 900 to plus 610. Spreads 13.5. I'm taking all that. I think the Dolphins absolutely just shit on the Titans.
What's the Titans' record again? 4-8?
I believe so.
Yep.
I'll take the Dolphins.
Okay. You taking that spread, Trevor?
Yes.
13.5.
All day.
Dolphins at home, right?
Yep.
Dolphins at home.
I'll take them. They're pretty dang good at home. No King Henry, I don't think. So
right.
Yeah, look, Will Levis and DeAndre Hopkins bitching at each other last game. I'm go with the Dolphins. They're on fire right now. I still think they're gonna win the AFC regular season over the Ravens somehow. Partially because of their division's not great. But yeah, I'm gonna go with the Dolphins, and I'll go plus. I think they'll cover that for sure. That 13.5. It's a large number, but I think they'll run it up on them. They get a couple early ones. It's gonna be ugly, I think.
Yeah. No, I agree. And then round us out here and pick 'em, Green Bay Packers and the New York Giants. Giants just need to I think just take L's for the rest of the season. Don't even play the fucking game. I know which game I'm going to watch instead. I'm going to watch the Dolphins game. I'm not even going to look at the Giants. No offense to the Packers. I enjoy Jordan Love. But spread 6.5. I'm taking the spread at 6.5, and I'm taking money line Packers all the way. And I'm taking the under at 37.5 as well.
I'm right on with you. Even though I love me some Tommy DeVito. I love him. Yeah. I love him, and I love his family, and I love everything about that Italian guy. He is awesome. He's awesome. He's no James Gandolfini, but he's a pretty cool Italian guy. He's playing in the NFL. I dig that a lot. I just wish he was a little bit better at the football and on a much better team. I'd love him even more. But no, Packers all the way. Packers are a dangerous team in December under Matt LaFleur for whatever reason. Like I said, Matt LaFleur undefeated in December, now 16-0 after the win last week against the Chiefs. So, yeah, Packers all the way, 6.5. I'll take that as well. You said the under, Drew, 37.5. That probably tracks. Giants aren't going to score too much, I don't think.
No.
Yep, going Packers. Giants, great story with DeVito. He's played pretty well. Not his fault.
He has, yeah. Didn't want to take away from him, but
I'm not taking away from that kid. Their wide receiver room has not been very great, but that's a product of there was no Barkley. The line was bad. That the coaches are apparently pissed off at each other. There's a lot of things going on there, but yeah, I don't like the Giants very much in this one. So yeah, that's what I'm going.
Apparently Dayball's an asshole. I don't know.
Yeah, apparently he keeps blaming it on the defense, even though the offense is the problem.
Yeah.
Bad games on defense, but that's because they were freaking on the field the whole game with Tyrod Taylor out there, even though he played okay at points. But yeah, Tyrod's back and DeVito's still starting. So, I can't trust the Giants. I just can't. So
no.
Maybe what Dayball needs to do, he needs to start giving whatever these are to his coaches and, make them feel better, like a high five, but with the molto bene,
Fugazi, get the fuck out of here.
Fugazi.
I'm going to be honest with you.
Fugazi, Tony!
Tommy comes into Dable's office. He's like, Coach, hey, calm the fuck down. All this gobbledygook, it's stressing me the fuck out. Let me give you my grandmother every Sunday they have dinner. Come over to the house. She makes the best goddamn cannolis. Come on over. And then his head, his head cools down.
Don't say cannolis around me right now. Don't. I just had shout out to my grandmother. Her name's also Karen Dinsmore. She makes the best fucking meatballs in the world. I swear to God. I had some of those the other night. I about entered a food coma. It was fantastic.
Oh shit. Okay. That's good shit. But anything else, boys, for tonight? That's all.
I do have a couple of things, and I know Nate, you had a couple of things you wanted to touch on as well locally. I'll touch on a couple national things. First and foremost, salute to the service members that are not only playing in this week's game. Army Navy, the long-standing tradition keeps going. I believe it's their 124th meeting, something along those lines. That's the only game this weekend, and that's the only game for a reason, as it should be. Thank you, obviously, to those that serve. Thank you to those that are going to serve coming out of this game, and we hope that those that are in this game have a great final game of football, if it is their final. But wanted to touch on that real quick. Army favored by 2.5 in that one. Like you said earlier, Nate, over under is 28.5. Expect a lot of rushing. Navy leads the all-time series 62 and 54 and 7. But Army's taken 5 out of the last 7, which was right after Navy had won 16 of the previous 17. So Army on a bit of a comeback here. Just wanted a quick pick 'em, and then I have one other thing to touch on before Nate does his little bit.
Okay.
So Army Navy.
Army.
Yep, I'm going Army. I think Navy, if I'm not mistaken, got a big win against Air Force, I think, this year and ruined their undefeated season to 8-0. I think they're
At the time they were 8-0.
Both these teams have an identical record. They're both 5-6, I think.
Correct.
But yeah, I think Army will win that game. I think they're just marginally better this year. They've been a lot better the previous 5 years, but this year I think they're marginally better. This is their last game ever before they're in the same conference, but the tradition will continue. This game will be an out-of-conference game that doesn't count towards their conference schedule or their record. So glad that they got that right. Could be, they play twice in 2 weeks potentially if they both make the conference title game. So that would be odd, but regardless, yeah, I'm gonna go Army. I think that they're slightly better, but this is gonna be close, and I think it's gonna be very physical. And yeah, like you said, thanks to those guys that are serving our country and all those service members for sure. So.
Drew, who do you got, buddy?
Oh, Army all the way.
Army? Okay. Yeah, I'm with y'all. I watch that game every year, and I do it because, I want to watch old school football. As much as I love today's game and, all the emphasis on the passing game and electricity and everything else on the offensive side, I like to see a good old-fashioned slugfest every once in a while. And what better way to do that than a game that literally has its own day to itself, which is a beautiful thing. But one other thing I wanted to touch on here, Mr. Jim Leyland, longtime Pirates manager, is being inducted into the Baseball Hall of Fame. He is the first manager since Joe Torre in 2014 to be inducted into the Hall. Just some of Leyland's accolades here. Won a World Series with the 97 Marlins. That team was the first wild card team to win a World Series, as the wild card had been, previously created a couple years before that. But yeah, won a World Series. He's got 3 pennants to his name, a career 1,769 and 17-28 record. And he actually had a really good record with the Tigers, 700 and 597. And we see kind of how the Tigers are today. They're not looking up to snuff. But, he obviously managed the Pirates from 86 to 96. gave us the closest thing we've had to a World Series in quite a long time. Obviously, those 3 playoff runs were ruined by the eventual World Series champion Reds, and then, of course, the Braves in 91 and 92. I don't need to remind Pirates fans about that at all, but not to focus on that. Jim Leyland, well-deserved. I can't say enough about that guy. And I will say this, he wasn't afraid to coach up his players too. This is the same guy that cursed out Barry Bonds in a video that I love to this day. It was spring training 91. And normally I complain about like when movies are uncensored on television and stuff like that, they take out an F-bomb or, they take out the word shit or, stuff like that. But I prefer this video of him yelling at Barry Bonds during the 91 spring training censored, because there's like maybe 7 words total in that whole argument that aren't beeped out. And it's just fantastic. Congratulations to Jim Leyland. And well, like I said, well deserved.
There's the dog, obviously.
Yeah, there's Daisy. I was wondering if she was going to make an appearance.
Oh, yeah.
Well, there's Daisy.
Yeah.
Drew's on dog duty tonight, so we love to see that Daisy could sneak in here for 5 seconds of fame. He's great. But yeah, Jim Leyland, what a freaking legend. Won everywhere that he was. Other than Colorado in 98, we don't talk about that. Nobody could have won in Colorado in 98.
That was a mess of an organization.
Yeah, and he won in.
So was the Marlins in 98, I think it was. Colorado was 99.
They won the World Series in 97 with the Marlins, and they didn't re-sign him, and they didn't re-sign the whole team, so he went to Colorado.
No, he came back in 98 when they tore the franchise apart limb from limb.
Was it? Okay. Well, regardless, he couldn't have saved the Marlins. He couldn't have saved the Rockies, and he took the Tigers to the most relevancy they've had in 30 years either.
Made 2 World Series championships.
Yep. So just missed out on some World Series titles there. Really glad that Jim Leyland's getting in. Wish that he had some people that were going in with him. I can't stand the process, but we'll save that talk for another.
Discuss this. Yes.
We'll discuss this at length. It's so ridiculous, but regardless, shout out to Jim Leyland, great manager, one of the GOATs all time in terms of managers in Major League Baseball history. Wanted to give some flowers locally to Juniata women's volleyball, back-to-back national champions. Hasn't been done in 23 years for NCAA Division III women's volleyball. They have won 62 matches in a row, 29 of those coming in straight sets. So shout out to the Juniata women's volleyball team. Good for them. If anybody knows anything about Juniata, their men's and women's volleyball are some of the best in the country, and they have been for
ridiculous.
A long time. Very, very good. Their men and women have won national championships before this, so I hope they continue to do so. It's crazy that we have a powerhouse in volleyball for both men and women in Huntington, Pennsylvania. It's such a random place, but good for them. But yeah, other than that, the Clarion women's volleyball team, they are still playing in the NCAA Division II Women's Volleyball National Championships this weekend. They are the number 5 seed out of the 8 teams remaining. So they play West Texas A&M, who I believe is the 4 seed, and Clarion is the 5 seed. They play on Thursday at 5 p.m. So hopefully that's a good outcome for the Golden Eagles. That women's team has been very close. The PSAC has been very good. There's been, Gannon's a great program. IUP is a great program. Edinburgh's had some good years in the last couple of years. Clarion's been really, really close to making a run at this thing, but Gannon has seemed to get to the, Elite 8, Final 4 in recent years. So this is Clarion's turn. They paid their dues, and hopefully these young women make the most of this opportunity. Clarion's got a really, really nice volleyball program right now. So hopefully they do well against, a team like West Texas A&M that is one of the best athletic departments in Division II in all of the country. They're a huge school with a lot of financial backing and a lot of history. Not that Clarion should be discredited. But that's, for Clarion to get here right now is very impressive. So, shout out to Juniata and Clarion women's volleyball, Western and Central PA, well represented in nationals in terms of women's volleyball this year as well. And Pitt and Penn State women, they've had great seasons too at the Division I level. So something's going right around here with women's volleyball in this part of the country for whatever reason. So pretty cool stuff.
Yeah.
So.
No. Is it anything else, boys? Or
I'm good.
I'm good.
That was all I had, buddy. We're good.
All right. Yeah, no, we appreciate everybody that tuned in tonight. If you're watching later, later on here, we appreciate you watching to this point. We have a giveaway as well. I wrote down some names I saw that reached out that said they weren't going to make it, so we got a little bit of giveaway. Like I said in the video, little promo thing. We have an extra large one topping pizza from Rick's Doughboys, and we also have a $20 gift card to Christy Crystal Clean Cars. I screw up every name every time. I apologize, Christy. Great lady. But no, we appreciate them. And boys, it's been a hell of a journey. 1 year anniversary today. We did the name change, and I'm happy to be leading the charge with you too every Tuesday at 8. So Daisy's going to close this out here. Have a good night. Have a good day. God bless. Stay safe out there. And this was another episode of Buckle Up with the Boys. All right. Appreciate you guys. All right. Okay. All right. Whoa, shit. Hold on a minute. Oh, I gotta end it. Oh, hold on. Shit.